look?
We're going
How do I
live.
look,
You look
Linda?
good.
How do I look, Linda?
Look good. Touch up. Touch up. Touch
Back
up.
up, back up.
Makeup.
Spray me. Bronzer. Bronzer. How much do my bronzer now?
I'm pasty. I'm pasty.
I feel wet. I feel dry. I'm chalking up in here. I'm chalking up.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Late belated Christmas. Happy moved into the new year
I hope
with a
everybody
new
had
podcast.
Real sexy Christmas.
Did you feel different about the holidays this year?
Well, I lived a different life this year.
You did live a different life this year. Yeah, so you definitely felt different, you know?
Explain your side. What are you going with it first?
So, yeah, because I mean, like, the one thing, like, I feel like the holidays made a much bigger impact on me this year. Not because of, like, any of, like, the gift things or, like, the gift exchanges. Just kind of meeting up with family. You know, we'll be having, eventually, part of my family will have a new baby on the way. So it's, like, a renewed Christmas for, like, this child. And also, like, just how I looked at, you know, tradition and, like, those ornaments I got that I talked to you about. Like, they just felt so different this year, you know?
I feel like that played a lot to, like, what we talked about this year, right? A lot of what we've talked about on the cast throughout the year. And then, like, you've also seen, you know, you see my experiences. You're living them too. You know, you could see, like, change in your perspective on things. Me telling you, hey, maybe if this changes, you'll see it like this. You appreciating your grandma more. You know, you've definitely seen that over the last few years. Like, you've became self-aware of that, of how fragile it is at this point.
Yeah,
you know, you experience death.
Yeah,
Death reminds you, right? Death reminds you again of what's going on.
Well, I mean, like, it also made me realize how important, like, not like really tradition, but just like the passing down of like family things. So like these ornaments, like I just think about like these ornaments that I put on the tree for my whole life. Some of these ornaments, you know. So it's just crazy to think that like there's so much like. In a weird kind of like cliche sense, there's almost so much Christmas joy and memories wrapped up in those alone just because of how they existed with the moment. And with holidays are really like, they're really nothing but a moment, just like anything else. But with holidays, we mark it special in that time. You know, it's just we all agree like this is a time for appreciation. I guess maybe it's a way to bring in the winter solstice, the new year. You get together with your family, and that I mean, of course, that does bring up some bad, you know, thoughts and memories for some people, and you know, some people don't have that family. But it's just a renewed appreciation for the Christmas as I've experienced, and what those like ornaments. That's what those ornaments mean, and that's what they hold. And I wasn't the only one that put on those ornaments. My other family decorated the tree with those ornaments, and it just means so much to pass on this type of thing to like the next generation, like your children. It just re-solidified in my head, like, yeah, you want kids, and you want to be able to, you know, create something, you know, whether it be a traditional thing you do during a holiday, these ornaments, some type of family heirloom knowledge. It just made me so excited for that type of like aspect of like the future of like life, you know, great, like bro. Yeah, like it's just a beautiful thing. The holidays meant different.
That's legit your family tree.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know what I mean? That's the most information you got on your whole family is on that tree every year.
Yeah.
Tells a whole story of what went down.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing, and when I was putting them on this year, I felt it because I didn't think about it until I started putting them on again this year. I was just like, man, like this, you know, these ornaments have been through a lot. They've existed this long ass time solely on the fact that you know, they have memories. My grandma thought that they were really special to her, and it was a big deal for her. She loves Christmas, and then she was able to then give these to me with so much like history, energy, memories in them, and it was just a beautiful thing. It's like something that's like it's so different from a photograph.
Every time we talk about your grandma, bro, it makes me emotional, honestly. Like, I told you before, like, in my eyes, like, your grandma was, like, the real definition of what a hero is.
Yeah, and
like, it's crazy that people will look up to a celebrity over your grandma.
Yeah,
and what your grandmom's did and what she's accomplished in life.
And, like, really, like, you know, like, it took to a whole nother level these past couple years, you know, like, growing up and, like, moving into, like, an older age and just how you view things, how I viewed the holidays at one point, feeling a little, like, kind of just like, man, like we're being used during these holidays. These holidays have lost meaning, but really it's like it's all the meaning that you give it and put into it because you spend it with your family. It's all about what you guys make it and celebrate and have fun with. It's not about the mindless consumerism. It's not about the obligation of getting people gifts. It's not about that. It's really just about the family, the joy of others, and like this time of year we all slow down. Everyone takes a winter break and we all slow down. Everything slows down besides like the mad dash to get gifts, but things come to a halt. People don't, people go on vacations, they don't work. It's just a different time, and it just felt so different to me this year, and I'm looking forward to it the next year, and like really just like making it to where like I kind of like every day kind of like feels like that. I mean, of course, like how possible is that? I don't know, but we should feel like that every day. We should feel good about like it's not the only time to celebrate it, but it's nice that we do have a time for that celebration.
Right. And we've talked about it before. Like even if you remove the points behind it, it's still a good reason to get together, right?
Yeah.
Forget Jesus' birthday. Forget the
Christian
pilgrims coming together
background.
with the Indians, right? Like forget all of that. It's still just a good idea to try to get the family together like that.
And the fact that like not only like us as like working class people, we're just like this has just been an accepted holiday all over the world. I mean, people and all religions like all do something during this time period to like celebrate that solstice. Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. Some religions don't celebrate anything around this time of year, but for the most part, it's a huge holiday. We all take a break for it. It's just I don't know. It's beautiful. I really appreciated it this year. And I really loved everything about it this year. It was a nice time, and like it also felt good just because like I feel like a new stone almost flipped over like of like the entirety of like my psyche. Like, it's not just that one thing. It's like this flipped a whole spring of neurons that like changed how I feel just about everyday life as well. Like I feel like ever since I've had that epiphany, I felt different about how I view or feel about life. Like I just feel more like I guess a little bit more calmer, but like also feel a little more clear. Whenever something like that happens, I just always feel a little more clear. Like it's like you wipe a little more condensation off the fog of like your vision of the future in your mind. It just becomes like you see a little better. It's not 100%, but you just see a little bit, you feel better. It just made me feel good, and I feel like that's a change I would just be moving forward with. It just feels nice.
It's like a divinity door.
Yeah.
You open you open one of your divinity doors and you like it.
Like the anger feels less present and like less. It feels like it has a lot less power in me these past couple of weeks. I feel like patience has also increased, and I don't know. I just feel just better about these things. Like just mainly like the anger and the way I handled stress, and like I feel very clear about that and like how I'm currently handling it and like dealing with it, and I just feel like a better person.
Yeah, you're at a calm point in your life.
Yeah, I feel a lot better. It feels like I don't know. I feel like I'm standing different. It's nice.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it, bro. It's great to hear. Like it really is, man.
Yeah. Like I don't.
You're growing, bro.
Yeah.
You're growing.
Yeah, and that's why it feels good too.
You're
Because
starting
like
to find like some answers that you've been looking for. Some feelings that you've been searching for.
100%. And like it's just like I also feel like that dopamine too, because I feel good about it. I feel good. I feel like I accomplished something, but it was really just learning and just kind of having a different perspective shift this year. I just feel good moving forward, and it's just I don't know. I get a little hyper too because I'm just like this is what you want. Like you can't force things like an epiphany. You can't you can challenge your mind. That's the best way to do it. But you can't force these things. Sometimes some things just kind of like lay on you different, and you're just like, like no matter what you read, it would have never got you to that point. It was like you had to have that just like moment of reality of just like,
Well, the holidays are at the end of the year too, bro.
Yeah,
like you've had that year.
Mm-hmm.
You've done a lot of shit. You went to different places. You had different experiences.
Yeah.
So it's only right. If you said it felt the same, that would be scary, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a sign that you're not growing and that you haven't realized different things.
Yeah. And it's like it's just weird how like when you feel something like that, I don't know how it feels to you, but for me it feels like a stack of dominoes falling. like that one domino just set off like thousands of others.
Yeah,
And I was able to like reach out and like touch like.
Sometimes it only knocks down 3.
Sometimes
it
it
knocks
does.
down 1 that you need it knocked down.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
to be able to knock down a different set, however you want to say it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think it's about where you're at in life.
Yeah, that's
You know,
yeah.
like that's
big
where
thing.
you're sitting at in life right now. You're at a calm spot in your life. You're at a comfortable spot where, you know, you feel like you can work on you.
Mhm.
You're not stressing over things you previously stressed over.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Yeah, you know, you just feel open as a human, as a mind. You feel open too, because you know there's period of times where like you may not have something like that, and then you almost can feel kind of enclosed in a box.
Well, you just went 28 years without it. Right?
Well, like an epiphany.
Like how you're feeling right now. You know,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
saying
yeah,
like
oh, yeah.
You're
Yeah,
seeing
yeah,
it in a
that's-
way you've never
yeah,
seen it. So
yeah.
it's like you already went hella long because you
Yeah.
never know when this shit's gonna
Yeah,
come.
you don't. No, you don't.
And you
Or what
just,
might cause it, or what, or like I said, like there may not be things to where you could go and read all about Christmas spirit and read all the Christmas stories that they tell you and the music, how it sounds, and you won't get it from that. You'll see other people having a good time and they'll tell you what it means for Christmas, but like there's just some things you just can't read into. You just happen upon in life where like that comes down to like.
I guess like what you experienced though, you know.
Yeah,
what you had that year.
Yeah.
It's the only way you're gonna see things differently.
Yeah. Yeah, life is the ultimate teacher, and the time is the ultimate teacher as well. You just
because,
move.
Like, you know, so if I was to go into, you know, these holidays with the mindset that you had, I would only be sadder, right? If I was like, this is what's gonna make me happy. These are the things I want, even if I do want them, because it's like it's only things that you're not gonna have. So the point that you're at in your life, it's like that's what I said. It's hard for me to ever hear that anything is set in stone like that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
First of all, you're gonna be different no matter what because you're
Yep.
experiencing that. But next Christmas, you don't know what next year holds.
That's true.
And next year could play out completely different, bro. You know, something could happen where the holidays will never feel the same.
Yep.
So really enjoy that one you had. That's not to be
Every time,
not to
yeah.
be that guy,
Yeah.
but if it was really that great for you, just like enjoy it right now.
Yeah.
Ride it for as long as you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
because you don't know how it's gonna play out, man.
Yeah, I remember I was thinking about this past year where I was for a brief while in this past year, I was thinking, I was like, man, like there really hasn't been much tragedy in some time, and I go through like two tragic things, you know, in the year. I'm just like, wow, like I gotta shut up, like why would you ask for those things? But it just felt like that was coming because it hadn't happened in a while. I was like,
you were due.
I'm overdue for this now.
Yeah.
I feel like they say we're past due for like a meteor strike. It's like, well, I'm just past due for like that universe event that just is out of your control. A little bit of infection sets in that one area.
Yeah.
You leave a second later. I don't know. Like it's some shit like that. Yeah.
It's like the Final Destination thing.
Yeah.
Right? But for your karma, basically. You might have like, 2016, nothing happened. But you owed 2 events. Now they came in 2018 plus the ones you owed in 2018.
Yeah.
So it's like you had 5
Debts are never unpaid.
Shit.
Yeah.
But you think, I seen a thing the other day. It was like, well, that year you were strong. Next year you'll be happy. But not every year can be.
No.
What are you gonna do, bro? What are you gonna do? You're gonna accept? You're gonna keep saying that this is yin and yang and all of these things can happen, but you're always supposed to be up. You're always supposed to be progressing. You're always supposed to be on the upwards gaining. It doesn't work like that. You're gonna get knocked down some. You're gonna get some tractions. It's this way it's gonna go.
Yeah, things like, this to say that like, 100% good things happen in your life would just like, even if you were to end up at the end of your life with an 80-20 win rate, like, okay, that's probably fucking fantastic, but the reality is like anytime you step out and exist in life, you're, the odds and probabilities and the numbers are being crunched out there. It almost seems like, so like you have a person you're with, the odds and probability of you crossing the street and them getting hit by a car, that gets played out like some type of algorithm. And then you cross 100,000 streets without ever getting hit, but then the one time you cross the street like normal, something happens. It's just like that. It's that 1 in 100,000. But it also seems like you don't want to boil life down to like an odds and probability thing. Like just because you're more likely for this to happen than getting bitten by a shark doesn't mean anything. Like that doesn't really hold any weight. It could never happen. Or it could, it could never happen. It's not really a 1 in like 300,000 chance. It's just someday it's your day. That just seems how it goes sometimes. There's no like right or wrong or like answer to it. Like things happen. Things persist over a couple of months, and then you find out about it. It's a random chaotic world.
It's just funny how like you're always just getting shifted like this. Like that's why I think it's like laughable now when we're like, this is what I believe in this.
Yeah,
or this is where I stand on this.
Yeah.
And all of that, everything I say from now on, just take it as theory. It could be different, completely different tomorrow. Because I've switched up on every thought I ever believed.
Yeah, and you'll be inconsistent. Like there'll be sometimes you may think this thing and then you think the other thing, but like you just never thought, like once you said it out loud, I really thought about it. And you heard yourself say it again a couple times, and you talked to your friend about it, and he was like, that was absurd. Like, what are you talking about? Like, then you really start thinking. You really start thinking about things and how, like, but, like, we all fall victim because we said for a while now, like, okay, we don't want to stand on these things. We don't want to make them our identity, but you do feel strongly about some things and how you view the world. And sometimes I could feel like it's an attack on you, but it's not. Like, we're just thinking. We're all theorizing here. You know, that's what we're doing. We're all philosophizing. We're all trying to make sense of this world. We're all trying to justify why something may happen. It's all belief system. You know, some of these things aren't even fact or could ever be proven in fact. You know,
I don't want to stand on them.
How could you? Like it's like you can't step up on air. But like
I told you the other day, I was like, I'm gonna be a hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
And if I wasn't a hypocrite, I'd be scared.
Mm-hmm.
Because that means I'm standing on these one fucking beliefs the rest of my life. Obviously, you know, I'm learning more. I'm adapting. I'm gonna change what I think. I can't tell you anything for certainty. I know certain things, right, that will always be red cards in my eyes. But there's different circumstances that explain different things, and you understand that what's at play now and how many different odds and chances that things are going to happen. And it's like anything has an explanation for everything.
Yeah, and when you come to things where we could never sit here and answer that. You know, when we really argue these things and really get in each other about them, and you know, we act like this spiritual belief is like a form of intelligence. When really, like, it's not. It holds no weight in a real world. It could help you perceive life better and could make you happier. But, like, if we want to sit here and just get mad because it's like, no, like, what do you mean that's not real? Well, like, you really can't say it is real for certain either way. Why sit here and then get at each other and think I'm some smarter being because you think of the other side of the spiritual belief? And now I think, like, you might be an idiot because I'm just like, how could you ever think that? This spiritual belief makes sense. Yeah. But we're just arguing gods at that point between Jesus, Lord and Savior, Muhammad. Like, that's what you're doing when you talk those beliefs. We could never fucking know.
Yeah, the only time there's going to be a problem if, like, it causes physical harm in some way. Mm-hmm. You know, like, you're not going to have somebody telling you that rape is right.
No.
You're never going to change on that. Nobody can talk you out of things.
Nope.
Nobody's going to say it's okay to poison the water.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, that's never going to be allowed. We're not going to let you poison the water.
Yeah.
But for things that are up to interpretation that don't harm anyone or just words or theories or thoughts, I think you got to just let anybody say anything at this point and take it all in. But it's such a gullible time.
Yeah.
You're speaking to the youth, like, you can get them. You can get them easily. That's what I'm having trouble with. We're sitting here and we're talking about how manipulated this world is and how all of these things are affecting us and taking over, and then we're at the same time we're blaming people for falling victim to it. So how is it that, you know, you believe in a fucking new world order, but you're mad at your neighbor? Well, your neighbor is the product of what you're complaining about, the creation of the propaganda machine that led to your neighbor. That isn't, you know, he's just nothing more than a subject like you in this process. And God forbid you finally feel like you have a step up on someone subconsciously, and the first thing we want to do, just like every achievement, bro, it's in me just as much as it in everyone else. As soon as you accomplish something, you want to brag about it. You want to tell someone.
Yeah.
You know, it's very weird. And I don't, like I said, when someone feels that natural, I don't know if you can necessarily be like, this is a bad thing, because we're all experiencing that. Nobody wants to achieve things and then it just go unknown throughout time. Yeah, great for you, but like, it's great when you can teach someone what you did, or you can show someone, they can show you how they did their project on something. This is way more great. But even when you talk about like once, so now, so in your perspective of what you're saying about the holidays, right? You're like, you see how valuable all of this is, and the way that I see this holiday is like, how much that involves things you can't even see or aren't guaranteed. So even when you talk about like this family, it's like the only thing that we really know brought a family together, a family as defined, is the blood. You can't even see each other's blood. You didn't even know you had different types before science. Yeah. So for me, it's like, well, what does a human do when all of this has disappeared? Right? Like when you're by yourself, all of these things don't even make sense no more for an individual. Yeah. You're not going to celebrate Jesus' birth by yourself in your house. You're going to, it's about the celebration of a group. Like that. It's the getting together, like you were talking about. That's everything. But what do you do? What do you do when you just have nowhere to go? And then I think about like my situation, still looking at like I'm blessed. There's somebody out that's homeless. Been addict for 20 years, bro. Missed 15 Christmases. Mom and dad still wants him to come there for dinner. Just show up for one day. And he knows he got somewhere to be. Don't even show up. He's getting high. He don't even come. He's freezing that night. Like, shit just reminds you of how much despair comes with the day also.
Yep, it sure does.
It is a lot of joy, and it's beautiful when it's beautiful. But, man, I think it reminds a lot of people of the things you don't have.
Yep, it sure does. It sure does. Whether that be your position to provide for your children the way you see others do,
right?
The way the family gets together, so I think a lot of people also feel they don't particularly feel joy this time of year, regardless of what they have, and then they're always being told that they should feel good about this time of year. But we all looked at the highs pretty sourly. It's like, okay, well now you just got a bunch of people just going out and buying a bunch of shit that we all don't need to give each other to people that we don't care about. Like that, people have those thoughts, and I get it. And it's so bad because again, I feel so good with the very little family that I do have get together, but people have nothing. People have been damaged by their family. So when it comes up, they think about that good time they did have with their family, their Christmas, and how someone, either them or that person, ruined it for the family moving forward.
They try to spice up winter.
That's why it made me that's why it made me super excited about the future as well, of what you will build and teach your own children about what this whole thing means, because really it comes down to what I say this kind of means and what it means to me. It's like, well, y'all don't be going out here and trying to buy everyone a Hermes bracelet, obviously, guys. It's really just about the thought of each other. And when I do have that to pass on to my children, I just hope I can convey it and help them understand it, and just be able to bless the future of whoever with the version of Christmas that I hope instill in these children, and they take what they want from it and evolve it and make a new tradition. It's just insane to think what may even be down the line 500 years from now. What you might teach somebody, what type of family antique you have. Because there are people out here with huge families, famous families, and they got fucking relics from the 1700s. It's our family shield crest right here. Crazy shit.
It doesn't seem bro, am I tripping, or is everything about the kids?
It's all about the
kids, bro. Everybody's always saying that, it's all about the next generation.
Yeah.
Well, this generation's the one that's got it running, and is currently operating it. So maybe it's not so much about the next generation. If you got a dumbass generation, there's no guarantee the next generation will be smarter.
Oh yeah,
you can make people dumber.
Oh yeah, you sure can.
You can instill a lot of shit that'll make people a lot dumber. So I think there's this run. I swear, I talk about it time and time again, and I'll only get better at wording it, but there's this rush for people to escape their own personal wants in life and accountabilities in life through having another generation. Yeah, because then it's all on that kid. It's no longer I don't know. You don't even know what your dreams are, because now it's based upon that kid. You know, Christmas means nothing. It's about the kids. It's always becomes about the kids. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. But goddamn, it's like, are we gonna do anything where we try to focus on what's currently happening instead of just creating another generation and be like, fix this, fix this, fix this, fix us.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. You know, every day, you try to go out there and like build yourself up to be a better you, to like, be able to like, just like I said, like you could never give someone something that like you didn't have. Like if you're not good, like you could never make someone else good or whole. Like that's the whole thing. Like you feel like you don't like. I feel like I can touch people, but I also feel like I got a lot of healing to do before I can sit here and be like, I try to give, like, I always try to be super honest with my nieces and nephews about things, and when I talk to them, like the way I right now, Clarence, my nephew, he's going on, like, he's 17, he's getting older, like he's driving now and stuff like that, and how he's seeing things. I'm just trying to give him like little bits that, like, I'm hoping he'll listen to, that he'll hear me when we talk, and when he tells me these stories he has of high school and how he interacts with people. And I try to tell him, like, hey, yeah, maybe, like, I remember there was one time we were talking, and he had said something about, like, he was, like, talking to two girls, and he was like, well, I wasn't with any of them, we weren't committed. And I'm just like, I was like, Clarence, like, you know what you was doing though, man? He was just like, you're right, dog. I know. I was playing with them. I'm just like, it's just, like, I'm just like sitting. I was like, why are you doing that, dog? Like shit like that. Like you try and teach them, and focus on now. And that's the other thing. Like right now, like I said, my niece is gonna have another baby. And when with my family, when we do get together, the times that we have is like what we've created from what we had is kind of like, beautiful in its own right. It's not always about the kids, but like you just always know that you're gonna do better by yours. You always know you could do better by yours than what you had. Like whatever you could imagine that you have that's better for you, it's already 20 times better for them. Like that type of deal. Like, so it's not always about them. I think some people do make it an awful lot.
Well, what are you gonna do if you're 18 and you have a kid?
Well, that's the thing. Like, like, what do you? Oh yeah, well, yeah. I mean, thankfully, it's not kind of like what I've done, but I don't. You don't even. That's the thing. At 18, like, you don't even know who you are. You don't know nothing about life. Zero. But you're at the time where you think you know the most about life.
Yeah, right.
Which is such a double-edged sword. I was thinking about that yesterday.
That's true, yeah.
Like, you don't know everything, but you think you know everything.
It's the worst.
And now I know nothing. But I know the most I've ever known, but I feel like I know nothing compared to what I knew nothing then, but I feel like I knew everything.
I now know I know nothing. Before I thought I knew everything.
Yeah, you never felt. But I also was thinking, as a upcoming adult, that false confidence might be like one of the best things you could have coming out of like a youth moment to become an adult, where you're just like, like some people are scared, but like, I was always looking forward to like getting a little older and becoming 18 and becoming an adult. But and you, like I said, you felt like you knew everything. But like, that might be a good evolutionary trait for people to just be like, okay, like, well, we gotta leave here now. We're not always children. We do gotta get the fuck up out of here. I'm not too scared. Like I said, I feel like I know everything. You get checked real quick, but it might be good just to be like, have that false confidence as you're coming out of this, like being under a mother's wing type of deal or style.
Or like, at least that's how you go. You can go and make them mistakes.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Because if you done everything logical, you would have never gotten any trouble.
No.
And you don't be a grown man's mind. You want a kid's mind to be like, yeah, let's try to throw that rock.
You felt like you knew the consequence and you didn't, or you never even thought there was consequences and you did it.
Yeah, like, but you also have that safety blanket, like, as long as you don't kill someone, they don't be locking up kids like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't really appreciate how long we want without having to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, right? Because you got like at least 15 years. All of us. Nobody was out here at 12. You got fucking, let's say, at least 13 years of not working.
Yeah.
No work, bro.
Whatever you want to do.
Appreciate that.
Whatever you want to do.
So
all the time.
Days. You wasted
outside of school
days, and you should have been out there doing something.
Outside of school, whatever you want to do.
Nobody ever really made that completely clear.
No.
And even if they did tell you, that's like we were talking about earlier. Like, does it even matter if somebody tells you sometimes, bro? Everything that adults tell me, I come to you now, and I'm like, yo, Bill was right. At the time, I wasn't like, bro, you're right. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I gotta go make the mistake and then be like, yelp. And then the next thing, and then you're telling someone the same shit. So even when you tell your nephew there,
He might.
Still, it's not he might.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I hope whatever little I say just imprints on him and just like.
And then it's like the more you give him to tell him like, don't do this. So I was talking with my sister, right? She's like, how do you tell him, talked about with condoms? I'm like, well, you tell him the truth that he should wear a condom. Mm-hmm. That STDs are bad. You don't know what girls are. You don't want to be getting these girls. This is the safest way to do it. But then you tell him also the truth is you're going to be fighting one urge to have sex. And you'll be fighting a second demon on your shoulder that's going to say, take the condom off. Right? This is just true urges.
Yes.
So I feel like you got to go in and just make him aware of like, look, you're probably going to hit a point where you want to do this too. If it does get to this point, if you're all out of backup options, you still got to make sure you get out of there. You got to pull out. You cannot stay in there. So I'm just trying to be honest with them, but you tell them, you tell them to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. You tell them, So you could say like, hey, you obviously shouldn't be playing with these girls' hearts. But if you are, at least make sure they don't know each other. Or something.
Yeah, all the time, bro. Because like,
to give them the honest truth.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the other thing is like, you also never want to be the person that's like, because in a sense, when some people look at these children, and they see that like kind of the innocence factor to them, and they're just like, because adults were just like, yeah, you guys don't know. And some people look at it just like, I don't want to tarnish this kid's like whole like childhood innocence of just like, hey, you need to be like thinking about this or that. It's like, well, it's kind of nice that you really at this age you don't need to be thinking much at all. And if you happen to gravitate towards like, it's important to encourage kids to do things and to see them through, and hope they gravitate towards something. Because kids are interested in things. They want to learn stuff, and they do. But, you also don't want to ruin that, like, almost that childhood innocence of them not knowing, them just living in that moment of childhoodness. They're playing tag with their friends. That's all that matters that day is for that child being a child.
For sure. But I wish somebody would have made it a little bit more clear that, like, 18...
Especially when you get older.
40 hours a week. 40 hours a week.
Especially when you get older.
Non-stop. We'll not stop. We'll have to keep working 40 hours a week. Like,
well, like, you I guess you didn't know how much time it was, but like, we were all taught, we're just like, yeah, we'll get good jobs that pay us good, and we'll work those jobs, but you never knew what that really entailed of just, like, what you might be working at or doing or the shit.
I would have been way more focused on setting things up. If I really, truly understood how quickly and how much I'd be working.
Yeah. They don't pound it home at all.
I probably would have cared more about my grades alone. Just to be like, okay, well, I got a scholarship. Maybe I could live on campus and try to figure out, like, that way. But it's weird because in my mind, I always just had in my mind I'm not going to college.
Yeah.
Weird how it just was always there. Like, nah.
Well,
I'm not going. I'm going to do something that just seems like a bad idea, and I never grew out of that. I always, wasn't completely aware that if you don't go to college, that means you will be working 40 hours a week, every week.
Yeah, unless you got on the ground at some hookup somewhere where you just start making.
We're like got a business. Or something.
Something like that.
But if you were gonna go get a place of your own and have a car and shit like that, then
most places. Up until a certain salary requirement, you'd be working 40 hours a week, like that's just the type of lifestyle you would live. And no one ever said, even as I got older, in the 16, 17 range, I'm coming up on it. I'm working my first job, trying to save a little bit of money. You leave that job, you're about to graduate. I kind of knew I wasn't going to college around 10th grade or so. Like, that's when I really started messing up in school and not going, but and I couldn't picture more school. But, like, no one ever said, hey, like, you try and save at least $20. Don't try and save some money, put some money to the side. I always knew in my head, like, yeah, you need to save money, but no one taught me a saving strategy or savings goals, how to accomplish goals, how to set goals, how to I mean, there's just a lot of things they left out that could be useful in anyone's toolbox. If you just literally taught them, hey, more goals become more attainable when you just, like, set a goal with a time frame. That helps so much. Like, don't just, like, no one even gave you this little tidbit. Like, just
think about, like, the people you were around. Well, I don't know everybody you was around, but for me, like, nobody had big goals.
Yeah.
The goal was like a car.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna car. I'm gonna be driving all around this place like their friends in Allentown to drink or do drugs. The
first thing a lot of people say, this is what my nephew was saying. He was like, yeah, people when they get their cars, like, they just get more excited because they can start traveling and working at, better places because they can travel to go get those jobs. Whereas now, like when you don't drive, either have to have your parents drop you off or have to be able to get there on a bus or some shit. So he's like, yeah, when a bunch of my friends get cars or something, like they're just ready to work a better job somewhere. That's not like you just gotta go to the grocery store where your sister work at or some shit. He's like, it just immediately like, and that's, I was just like, whoa, yeah, I guess. I mean, like, do you really understand the weight of what you're saying there? Like, it's like you get your car and you're just like, okay, I'm ready to go find a better job somewhere to make more money. Like, you understand that what you guys saying there? Like, you guys should be thinking, oh, we can drive the OC and go like have fun. Like, I don't think you really realize what you're saying, the weight of what you're saying there, just to find a better job. But I mean, you aren't taught to have a dream because I mean, you just that person have a dream. They did. It's just you're not taught. You're taught you could be anything, but you're not taught to keep dreaming and to really chase that bitch. They just say they give you platitudes, bro. Oh, the sky's the limit. Okay. Jordan 1-6. Like, well, what are you saying, guy? Like, it's flu game Jordan. Remember that was the crazy. Like, what are you trying to tell me about success? What are you trying to tell me about goals and what it means to be a dreamer? Like, it's just you want once you got older, you had to learn the hard way.
I come from crazy poverty, bro. You know, so when I think about, like I said, like bro, I don't even have an aunt, an uncle, a mom, a dad that has a driver's license. Like, couldn't pass the driver's test. Not because they ain't want it, couldn't pass it. Didn't have the money for it, couldn't pass it. We've talked about divorces before. I told you, like, divorces, bro, it's a rich person enjoyment. Like, where I come from, like, you're not even able to do things like that. Getting divorced, that costs money. It costs paperwork that people never do. Insurance?
Yeah.
Nobody I knew grew up having insurance. Insurance was like a rich person luxury. Like, simple shit, bro.
Yeah.
Was like, so I just felt like I had such low... Well, I was thinking about the other day, like I had just such low standards, bro, and couldn't see the bad in someone. I'm already around a bunch of bad people that don't see no good and can't and don't dream big.
Yeah.
And so, I'm already like, oh, I'll do a little bit better than them. I beat the next generation? Don't even feel good to me. Mediocrity because I did better than the generation before me.
Yeah, and
so whack.
Yeah, and like
trying to blow the head off that bitch.
Yeah, early on, like there was a lot of superficial things that made me feel good because, like, I mean, like, I didn't come from like crazy poor, but like. You know, I think it was like a year or two before I got my first car that my oldest sister got her first car. You know, it's like, you know, people overcame things at different times. And for me, like, in my family, I was a huge goal. I was just like, man, I got my license. I'm probably the youngest ever to get a license, to get their own car. I was like, man, like that feels so good. That's insane. Oh, like I'm also, you know, like making some of the most money. Like, man, like, felt so good about those things, but those are such small, pointless goals just because there wasn't many around me that attained much bigger, and that meant so much to you. You're like, okay, but I was still poor. I was still in poverty level of wage, but it felt good because I was still making more. I'm just like, and like I said, I'm young. I'm just like, wow. Like, I talked to some of my friends. I'm like, man, I'm like $4 ahead of them. I'm like, wow. I'm really doing better. I'm doing good. I almost felt like I had like almost like a superiority complex. I felt like I was smarter too, and I mean it was all false. That's all false. You know, I mean, like, I don't want to take away like some of the things that I accomplished, but it's not what you think it is. Not in the frame of what you grew up around or what you've seen people accomplish. You know, there's not many people around anywhere where like they went and did that one thing and went crazy. You know, they didn't. Okay, man, they make $75K right now a year. I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. It's awesome, dude. But no, nothing crazy. You know, nothing insane. This guy's not on radio. This guy's didn't own his own realty company. Like,
yeah, I mean, even on the smallest level, bro, just like hobbies and shit. Like, I never seen that growing up. I never even seen nothing like that. If you want to call like sports a hobby, that's it. I never seen, like, all my life I've been around consumers, no creators of anything.
Yeah.
You know, so they're here to fill roles. They're not here to create roles.
Yeah. I never even really had many like creative things. I had a lot of video games growing up, and that was just a big, especially for a kid, that's just a huge sucker, man. Some video games you get. 64, the GameCube, the PlayStation. God damn, those things. Wake up, play.
But ideally, man, I wanted a fucking dad on top of me, pushing me to be something. You know, like
Huh?
getting me up in the morning, not getting me on that game, earning that
Yeah.
game
Yep.
after doing something like could have done so many things, bro. Just don't even have no
Someone-
direction, no direction of like what are you even supposed to
And
do?
when you
bro?
when you did have a sense, no one to be like, yeah, you should go follow that a little bit.
You know, and even if I
You know?
found it, like there's plenty of times I want to be on the football team. We can't afford no football team. Fucking $280 sign up for a summer football team.
Uh-huh.
Like it's like I can't even find things. I got no direction to go. If I do find something, I don't got the money to join it, transportation to get there. Like just no type of fucking anything. It doesn't not even thinking. Like you don't even realize how fucked you are like that.
No, you don't. As a child, you just live in kind of like a blissful type of ignorance and rose-colored glasses where, well, I went and had so much fun with my friends today. Thank God I had friends, man. You know, like just growing up and being able to be in a solid group of friends and people around me. Like I was never at one point as a teenager like a loner, ever, dude. Like I always had a group of friends I was around or someone I was hanging with.
Yeah, you
I was
never
always friends.
moved neither.
No, I never moved either. No, yeah, that was the big thing, and I realized as I got older and talked to people, and I'm like, yeah, man, I've known this dude for like 15 years, and I'm 22, and they're like, dude, what? Like nah. When I was a kid, I moved around everywhere. I never had friends. I went to 8 different schools. I'm just like, damn, like there's a lot of people that don't have some childhood friends that they always knew like that, you know?
Yeah, bro.
It'd be insane. It'd be insane. It'd be like to me, it's just so insane to think that someone doesn't have that. It's like wow, like to me, it was just a normal occurrence. But I guess thankfully we didn't move. We didn't move around too much, or didn't move around at all. That's great. In the same neighborhood all the time, same school. That was a huge wake up call. Went to another school and I had like none of my usual friends. That was such a big point. That was such a big moment for me, dude. It did so much. It was evolving. The experiences of the
It's
fucking
everything, man.
It's everything.
It's wild. You know, just getting shaped through all of these things. Like you never see it when it's happening.
No, you don't.
You just don't
man.
even understand what's going on, bro. Like,
No, you do. You never do. You're always, because now you look back on it and like as a child or as a teenager, like I didn't have much of a feeling of future. It was just now and tomorrow. That was really it. That was really all you had. It was like you woke up. It was like, what are we doing today? Oh man, Mike and the boys hit me up. We're gonna go up play some ball. Let's go do it. And we're go do it. And that's just it. You didn't have plans in the future. You didn't have obligations to go. You didn't have to be here at a certain time all the time. It was just wake up, plan something. You wake up, you plan something. And thank God we were also allowed to explore that as kids. Get out there a little bit.
next thing you know, 10 years go by as an adult, and you're like, you're not where you thought you'd be.
Oh no.
You didn't
Yeah.
do the things you thought you did.
No.
That's how I was saying. It's so weird, bro. I think about in the beginning of this year where I was mentally, and we're about to turn into the new year. It's like the beginning of last year, I was ready to accept so much different things in life.
Mm-hmm.
Just accept a whole different life of like this prairie humbleness gone into the wind, like not to be heard of type shit. And then like your life could just change so much. Your life could just change so much, and all of a sudden you're like, who was that? Who was that was about to do that for 50 years?
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, bro. Now you know that wasn't really you, man. That wasn't you. And you're about to do that forever. It's like it's so weird to me. It's like not even so much changing but unlocking.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like it was always there. You just like locked that part away, and we're doing this in life, and this was how you seen life, and this is what you were ready to do in the future. And just turn a couple things happen to you, and all of a sudden you want so many different things. Life seems so much different. Interactions are different. It's all about really where you're at in life, man. That's why it can shape you so much, right? You go through these whole years of all these experiences. You're so different. Like, so much is going on, man. We live so long. We're in our, 30 years we're going to see. And, shit that's been going on around you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of shit to take in.
You'll look back at, some of these moments. You'll be like, man, I was such a fucking idiot. I was such a dummy. But you can't get those back. So, moving forward, like you said on the last one, you're choosing. You're making like an active, like, grown decision of just where you're at in life and who you are, and it's like a whole nother new criteria that you never knew you had for like another partner. That you just like like thought of, and even
for yourself,
even the habits you have every day. Yeah, habits you have every day.
Just right, bro. I feel like I've always been a giver. So when you're a giver, you're just giving, man. It's like, I don't know. Is it that bad to be like, man, I'm ready to be selfish? I'm ready to like choose, I'm ready to decide instead of always being on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what it feels like. I don't think it's a bad thing for somebody to say that.
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, and like, why would it be bad to say?
Well, I was talking to my sister the other day, and long story short, I was like, well, I feel like people don't necessarily deserve to know things about me if they don't know me like that.
Okay.
So like I'm willing to be an open book with you, but I don't want to necessarily. I've got to know you're a good person with good intentions. I don't want to just go up to people that are dickheads and be like, here's my life story, or here's something, like give people no ammo and shit like that. I want to be obviously like, I'm like, well, I don't think bad people necessarily deserve. I don't want to give them my time. I want to be selfish with that, right? I want to give my time to people that want to give me their time. And she was like, well, deserve's a bad word, basically. And she's right. Deserve is a bad word because it's implying that I come from some higher side. But is it bad if I'm like, well, I deserve something? I deserve something. Like, can I say that? Can I say that for once, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it possibly comes from like, because we're in a very entitled society. I think people are very like, when they hear people say that they're not entitled, but like that they deserve it. Like, there's like, that's like a huge almost no in like any part of life. But when you're saying just, I don't think it's bad. I think it's a positive thing for you. Like, I don't think it's. It's all also about the actions that follow through with that. If you become some type of arrogant dickhead who's just like, man, like these girls don't deserve me. Like that's a whole other deal. But it can happen. People could think that way and take that way. But I think it's just when it comes down to like when I think knowing you, I'm just like, nah, I don't. I think he deserves. I would say he deserves it. Like
you don't gotta say like if does someone deserve me, right?
Yeah.
How about who do I deserve?
Yeah.
I deserve this. Not necessarily. You don't got to look at it from that way of it being like, oh, you think you're higher than someone.
Yeah.
I'm just saying someone can. I think I deserve this high.
Yeah, it's just like if you were to say I deserve better, and that's a good thing to say. People say it all the time. People say that all the time. It's like
it's like you undercut deserve with I deserve better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But just by even saying better, like it's like no, like I feel like I deserve these things, but again, it's a fine line you walk with, and I think that's just how people view that.
I just feel like I've always, all my life, I've just tried to give what someone else wanted. Try to improve how someone else wanted, and I enjoy that. I do enjoy like someone having an idea and me trying to help them achieve that idea.
Yeah.
But in the process, you take away a lot of time that you should be focusing on yourself.
Yes, and I think especially like this new age, like we've developed like a lot of like new terms to describe things. Like we have things like where people are like, well, like what's your love language? And we overkill it, we overuse it, but it's like, well, like you deserve some physical touch, and like you want some physical touch, like the hair, and or like some people are like, I cook for people all the time. That's my love language. Like that's like I think people get too deep into it, but we never really thought or think about who we are as romantic partners, lovers, the style, like any of that. We just kind of dive into this head on, and then we figure it all out. And sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. But we always just try and jump in and figure it out. We never try and sit back and reflect and think about who we are in this type of relationship, who we want to be in this relationship. We jump in. It's like, well, this feels right. Well, that didn't. Well, that doesn't speak to me. That's not what I want to do. But you never put any thought in that before. You never put any thought into that before. And then you get to a point where you start thinking about it, and you start thinking, you're just like, hey, yeah, like, that, this is my love language. This is how I love. This is how I like to be loved. And we've developed the term for that, like I said, like love language. Like we're thinking about these things more intricately and how it may ultimately affect relationships and how we handle people and deal with people. It's
That's
big.
right? But like, even outside of love, like, what do you want? Right? Outside of your
What do you want?
relationship, like, what do you want out of life? What do you want to go pursue? What do you want to chase?
That folds all into it as well.
Right?
Yeah.
Because all of these things take the back burner the more responsibilities you add on to yourself. Right? If you take on a relationship, you take on fatherhood, motherhood, you're just putting yourself more and more on the back burner. So I really wonder, like, that's why people like don't even know the answer, bro. That's why they don't even know what it is, because they don't even think about it no more. There's so much on the back burner in their list of who they're taking care of that they're not thinking about like their acting dream anymore, or how they used to write or nothing like that. That's all long out of the window.
Yeah.
So I just don't know. Like, I think that would probably play a lot into why people are sad. It's not a bad thing. You can find joy in it, but don't we all have this selfishness to us where you had your personal dreams, right?
Yeah.
Like, before you ever dreamt of doing anything else, you had dreams of what you wanted to be in the world and what you wanted to see and where you wanted to go. And it's like, we just lose all of those, bro. You stop working on yourself, man. You just become real stagnant. You look back on it, you're like, how the fuck you go years? You think you're growing. But truth is, you need change to grow. You can't be in a complacent, comfortable spot all the time and expect to make like these huge epiphanies that you're looking for. You need things to happen for you to like open that back up and
you need to challenge yourself and put you in challenging situations and problems, and like not like problems, but you need to solve things. You need to think. Mainly like you need to really think and reflect on who you are, the things you want to like tackle, how you're going to tackle them, because I mean that's working out your brain. That's like that's why it's like math is good for you, because it's a brain workout. You do some critical thinking. Brain forces you to do that critical thinking that we're like you wouldn't normally put that into yourself. You're sitting there so focused on unraveling this math problem, but you can do that and apply that to like unraveling your own head, which is just a big mixture of wires and cables, and that's what when we talked about like last time we were saying I was asking like are you really you, or are you like what it is, and that just is you? Are you what you want to be? Is this just what you're portraying because this is what your brain wants? It's already hardwired to just be, I am this person. This is how it's wired. I don't know at the end of the day if you are really you even. Like you don't even like. Are you just a reflection of that consciousness in your brain?
Well, like you also understand the value of things, so it's hard. It's like really about what are you willing to turn down.
Yeah.
Because you could be like, oh, I want to do this in life, but if I offer you $600K to manage garbage men, you understand that $600K is rare and that's a lot of money, and like when people come across an opportunity like that, they usually latch onto it. It goes good. You don't want to let it go. I get it. I definitely get it. I understand like why we want this comfortability, but nobody wants to manage garbage trucks.
No,
you want to do other things in life, man.
There was a quote I seen earlier where it's like the man that follows a career ladder, up, is not the man who imagines, or something like that. It was a quote something along those lines. But like when you have this path, this hard path that you can follow, which we have from the moment we step in school, you go 1 to 12. You go to college, you go to job, or you go from school to the job. It's a clear-cut path. I think it's very easy for any particular one person to just go and ride this path that's already set out for them. You have no thinking to do other than what the work is being as is given to you. So you go to school, all you gotta do is do that schoolwork. It's assigned to you. You're on a railroad track. You're on this track, it's assigned to you, you knock that out, you go. Okay, then you apply to college. They help you, they tell you apply to college. I even put in college applications and wrote a letter or two, just because I was, at one point, a part of a class. So they put you're on that, you just, again, all you gotta do is just put in that work. You go to school, it's given to you. You gotta put in that work. You go to this job. Well, here's what you gotta do. All you gotta do is just follow and listen. It's so easy to just climb this fucking ladder in life.
The whole time you're dying.
And the whole time you're dying, you're not thinking, you're not imagining, you're not creating. You have no thoughts about life. You just, at the end of the day, you're binging on fun chemicals of just, okay, I go to the game, I then get drunk, I have a night out with my friends, they come over. You just have this binging of fun whenever you're not in this workspace.
Well, look at us, bro. Like, we know that smoking is bad. We know it's killing us. We know that there's no clean way to smoke. You can say, "Oh, weed's better than cigarettes."
No.
Hit it out the bowl.
You smoke, you smoke.
You're smoking, man. You're taking in this shit, and you know it. And what we were like talking about before everyone came on here, you still do it.
So do it.
Are we sad? Are we sad, or what's going on here? Like, what is going? Why are we willing to be like, you know what, just for this little fun chemical? Like we're willing to lose time out here. It's weird.
Yeah, lose time.
No matter how much you enjoy it.
Alter the conscious state of your body in whatever way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
Multiple times. You know,
and we're talking about how much we like it.
Yeah.
We like it.
Yeah.
We like it.
You know, I mean, I think you know, with that, it's a very common thing. I think it's very easy, but you know.
I mean, look outside of weed, bro, with the vapes.
Yeah.
Like, most of these people are vaping. No,
yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
We just love this.
Well, I mean, I just worry about
stressed as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. So like that's the other thing. Like, you know, you have a lot of things you're unhappy about. So when you think about the couple of things that you do have a vice for, that you give into. Like,
but we know they're going us. It's like so weird, bro. It's weird, man.
Yeah, it is weird. It's weird, you know, and you know,
like
I
fatties,
feel
fatties.
I thought about, you know, the smoke and
Big
like
league.
possibility of like cancers and dying early. And I feel like I've accepted that. I've just been like, yeah, like you said, like I like to smoke. It's one of the things I enjoy that I really spend a lot of.
Weird.
You know, like I spend a lot of, I participate in a lot of, like.
But if I really came to you with a number and told you how much you sacrificed, that'd be dangerous, right?
We thought about it. Yeah, we
If
did
I
the
was
number
like,
before.
The angel of death comes. It's like, yeah, you can
see-
smoke all you want. You're going to lose 14 years.
You sit there, you smoke, as you're smoking a blunt, you see the clock tick down a little bit, like a lot. You're just like, ah, shit. Yeah, it's
You're like,
you know,
fuck. But right now, you're just like,
But here's the cushion.
this place.
Here's the cushion in the back of your mind, bro. I've seen multiple, you know, like 80, 90-year-olds. They're still driving. They're smoking cigars, drinking whiskey. Like, they're just doing a thing. It's just like, hey, man, like, I might have them good genes too. Like,
I always think about that too. I'm like, well, Snoop Dogg's down. I always think, am I smoking too many blunts? If I smoked too many blunts in my life, then I'm like, well, Snoop Dogg smoked more blunts than me. And he's gotta be less
way
healthy.
longer. He looks great. He looks great.
But here we are, right? It's the same thing like when you're saying you did better than your parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, smoked less than Snoop, I guess.
And the funny thing is, whenever someone, like, I talk to someone.
But that neurosurgeon never smoked.
Whenever I talk to, like, my niece and nephew, and they talk to me about marijuana and stuff, I'll just be like, look, here's the honest truth. It's not a bad drug. It's not, you know, it's whatever, this, that, whatever. But you do not want a smoking habit. You don't want a smoking habit. Don't get a smoking habit. It's a habit. Don't get it. Just don't even start. And I was just like, look, don't even start it. Don't even start the habit. Just leave it alone. It's not a bad drug, though, but leave it alone. Just leave it alone. You want to experiment, that's up to you, but leave it alone.
It's like raw dogging. It's raw. It's like, it's Chick-fil-A. It's these things that just, if you never do it, you never want it. Just don't do it, you never want it.
We all know what Mike likes. We all know what Mike likes.
Staying far away. I go, but why are we all falling victim to it? Why did somebody smoke more than you before you even got born on this planet? Somebody smoked way more than you.
Yeah. Why have people been smoking?
All these other things, man. We're going through a lot down here.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wonder if there was a reason we were supposed to die young.
It might be. It might be. You know, because
you're getting just brain overload, bro.
There's a lot of things that like can't keep up, and your teeth is one of them. Your teeth are not meant to be stuck in your mouth. You know, 60-some years. They start falling. You start losing bitches 45. It's like, man, we're really getting on the cusp. That to me is like the cusp of old age. Your teeth are now rotting out your head. It's like, look, we can't grow no more. You have so much calcium deficiency. We gotta take that somewhere else. Your knees, your fucking knees, dude. Your knees. Fuck your teeth. Your shoulder, your back, bro. Like, fuck the teeth.
Sacrificed it. Already sacrificed it.
Yeah, that's why you're like you see people with your kidneys, your liver, stuff like that will fall before the heart, the brain.
You already know, but what are you gonna do? We're gonna like say we're. That's what I'm saying. Like we're blaming people, but at the same time, we all fall victims to these same vices that we know they've created. Sodas destroying your kid's mouth. Candy destroying your kid's mouth. I was right there, destroyed my shit. We don't stop it. Mm-hmm. We still allow it to be fucking. You can buy with the food stamps that the government will give you.
Yep.
You can buy unlimited 2 liters if you want.
Yeah.
You know,
all the gummies, whatever.
Crazy, unlimited, no control. You know, so here's my family getting $300 food stamps for me, and they can just go buy all this junk and all this trash. Junkies getting food stamps for me that are supposed to be buying me protein and vitamins and cooking meals. They're buying cans and marshmallows and sweets.
Yeah.
Right? So then you only get 2 sets of teeth in this life.
Yes.
Now you're like, okay, my teeth are destroyed. You see a lot of people, their teeth get destroyed. They're like, okay, it is what it is. They just let it go.
A lot of times there's nothing to cover it.
Try to get better. Put my money out there. Try to fix it. But obviously I know the more teeth work I get done, the more dangerous it is. I don't think at the end of the day you should be doing any of these things to your mouth.
Yeah.
They've got to affect you in bad ways.
Yep.
And now I go there for nonstop work. I know it's making my life worse. But let's say I lose 10 years or whatever it is, right? Do I want to be out here with no teeth? Am I not going to get work done? That's why no matter how much I bitch about this world, I'm happy science has created ways for us to preserve things. At the same time, they're the ones that helped ruin it by putting these things on the shelf and making them available. And, like my parents, bro, they're not going to teach proper hygiene.
They're not. No.
My mom tried to show me how to brush my teeth. She's not going to watch me brush my teeth, make sure I brush my teeth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's crazy to me that they think they just have all these answers. Like, oh, we're giving. I know so many kids with metal in their mouth. It's a standard practice. Like, this is how I grew up. This is what I still see. It's very sad. It's like a forgotten about form of health that there is. People don't realize how much your mouth has to do with your full body health, bro.
Your whole body health.
What am I going to do at this point? Once you only get 2 sets in life, you lose it. It's like you're not going to get that work done. You're going to go out here and have, tooth pain or you don't even want to smile when you're out.
Man.
You're going to spend money and be like, like you're like, I'm a smoke. It's like, it's sad, bro. It really is sad. Like, we know these things are bad for us. We know they're killing us, and we're just like, it'll make tomorrow funner.
Yeah. It'll make tomorrow funner. It'll relax me for the moment. Take my mind off it for a second.
We're a drug addict, right? We're smoking every day. We're a drug addict, but there's people that have chosen way harder routes, and to me, it's not that far fetched, man. To just be like, this shit is boring. This shit is boring, man. Like, and you've been on drugs, man. It's the funnest times of your life.
Yeah,
it's the funnest times of your fucking life, man. There's no denying it.
And the way these drugs affect you, like there's something to it. There's abuse of them, but there's still something to it. There's still a huge thing to consuming these things. That's who we are as people. We just consume. No matter what. Once we found that wine, once we brewed that tea, once we made coffee, once we smoked this pot, like it was over. We love this type of thing of like, what is even coffee? You just drink it, you get a little hyper real quick. You drink a little tea, it's not as strong as coffee, but we still sip the shit out of tea all our fucking lives. We find these things in this world. We enjoy them.
Think about people, heroin addicts shooting up in their arm, heroin that they get off the street, alcoholics chugging fifths of $3 alcohol.
Yeah.
Just straight down, bro.
I wonder if the heroin that they used to push as a pharmaceutical was any better. Like, if that was any better for you than the heroin today.
Either way, bro, syringes are man-made.
Syringes, yeah.
Like, you can't think of a natural syringe. How would you make a syringe in nature?
Well, I think heroin, like, you could make something natural that probably would be a lot less worse than what we probably made.
A syringe, you think?
Not syringe, but like we get some opiates from some poppy. It might not be some bad to smoke just some real poppy. But you start taking you start taking those opiate pills.
Veins.
Yeah, that's
crazy,
yeah, you start doing that, you boofing it.
But once again, we're victim. We're smoking.
Which is the same way. It's just a different. It's just a different way to get in the body. Just a different way to get in the body.
But those are the two really harsh ones to me.
It's pretty crazy.
Injecting it with with a syringe and chugging a fifth of like raw cheap alcohol.
That just
Like, you're just wow, bro.
I
Like,
just see that. Just like that's a hardy human. That's a like what?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt me. You should have been an army kid, you know, right? Like you could have been a soldier for sure.
Yeah, I'm also worried about what you might be drowning there, kid, because that's wild. That's what, because I've seen people where they put the straw in, they bend it to the side, they chug it out because they have the air that just lets it just go straight back their throat so much easier.
Bad,
that it's
but
insane.
Here we, like somebody who doesn't smoke would look at us and be like,
Wow,
all that weed in that boy.
wow,
Just dominoes back to back, and you guys are good. You're gonna drive.
I smoked with someone the other day that doesn't normally smoke ever a lot, and I felt I was just a normal blunt, and they're just like, whoa, what the fuck, like why? Like I'm just like, I did what? Like this is just, I think this is a normal blunt, you know, and not to say like, oh, you're fucking fatties, you know, like it's just this person doesn't do it all the time, and they like that's what I roll. It's okay, but that's insane to them. They're just like, wow, like how many times? I probably smoke like 3 of them, maybe. You know, like that's. And I'm also like, but people smoke like 6, 8, and 10. I feel like I don't smoke a lot, but I smoke a lot. I smoke a shit ton.
People smoke more than me. Always think.
I smoke a shit ton.
Snoop
Yeah.
smokes more than me.
I smoke a shit ton. Yeah. You know.
But when you look at it,
and you put a lot of weed in there.
I seen a thing that was like, you know, maybe it doesn't do what it once did for you, and now you're just using it to keep coping through that fact that, you know, it's a stimulant through your day, and it's an accepted stimulant. But we were just talking about how we don't want to stop it. So you can't tell if you're just like, man, I'm going to enjoy my life here. Or if you're like an addicted lab rat that they just created and made you think that weed was the better alternative to things, and they've still got you addicted to a substance.
Yes. Yeah. But also, like, you know, like, there's also, like, I got another thing. But I also think, like, you know, there's also something to the idea of, like, an inhalant, like a smoking, where it's, like, it's also the same thing where you just go, you know, you hit that real quick. It's the same as a regular breathing exercise that you would use to calm you down. So there's something to the oralness of it. You know, that might not be the best word for it, but to put the... Yeah. And whenever you do smoke, you're usually people take a smoke break from something. They're taking a moment, they're just like, you know, you're taking a pause. It's like a pause in life. It's a pause in life for a moment to step away from like everything that goes on around you, which I guess would be classified as an escape. I guess you could classify it as some type of escape. I think we both put a lot of thought into it, where you just kind of ram yourself down. You're just like, man, this is bad. But
I mean,
you enjoy the little thing in life. I mean,
and like you said, like you're trying to eat better. You're trying to work out. Like it's not like you're not trying to have good addictions too, but you do have these bad addictions, bro. And you think about just weed and masturbation. Yeah. Control a lot of you.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's like, man, they got that's a lot of mind power. If I told you none of those tomorrow,
I've been trying to at least cut back on porn usage. You know, which I've been doing okay, but you know it's tough. It's definitely tough, bro. Because the addiction's there, no matter how subtle it might be or feel. You know, you can jerk off 4 times a day. If you jerk off every day to porn, I mean that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad for you. And the minute you can't jerk off with it, you're just like, I've you charge your phone up a quick 20%. Go jerk off. It's about to die. It's not. You're not like, I'm not gonna just jerk off and not wait for the phone. You just wait for the phone to charge, and then you go jerk off because you want that porn.
Yeah, but they were saying like basically you don't have a porn addiction if you can jerk off without it.
Interesting.
And I don't think that's true.
Interesting.
I don't think that's true now.
That sounds very.
You want that to be true. You want that to be. You want that to be true. But I don't think it is.
But you were just thinking about a porn.
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't think for me. I think that's probably that can be a common thing. Yeah. That can definitely be a common thing. But I think for me, I can jerk off without it and think about other things that aren't porn.
Yeah.
I think about my 5th grade math teacher if I want to. Yeah. I still don't think that makes me not have a porn addiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it didn't make much sense to me. I was like, nah, it's like it just plays more into your like you've got a masturbation and porn addiction. What is all these stimulants, bro? Just get high, busted nuts,
Bang
drink
'em.
a coffee,
Bang it up, boom, boom,
get drunk.
boom. Yeah, you're just getting you're getting a rush every time.
Wow.
And the thing, especially with like masturbation, for that split second as a male, like you have like maybe like a 20-30 second, if that, orgasm, and it's just like, then after that you have that post-nut clarity where you just feel a little disgusting with yourself. You're just like, man, that
You
was
don't even exist as
vile.
You don't even exist as a human. In
No,
that
you're
time.
just like, like, and you're just like, what are you like? Literally, like you're just, and you watch this video, you got you're biting your lip now, or curling your toes, just pushing this pleasure button.
Yeah, bro.
There's this pleasure, this literally, and
now you
as
got, dude, sex toys.
as a non-intelligent, being, you would just sit there and push that all day, and we're intelligent beings, and we're just sitting there pushing that all day. It's a blatant abuse of like what we're doing here.
You think about the power that some of these women's sex toys have, to the point where you question if they need you, and then listen, I'm sitting here with this electronic sex toy that'll just suck you off. You're like, bro, this robot will literally just fucking find your human orgasm and just suck it out of you, bro. In a weird time, bro. Like, you're talking about porn addiction. We got another addiction coming. Like robot stimulants, man.
Yeah.
I mean, these robots are getting good.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about that pleasure button. You've never had it like this where you don't even physically got to do nothing no more. Press one button, it's done. Like, it does the rest.
Goes into a nut reservoir, no cleanup needed.
It's just milking you, bro.
Yeah.
Just this machine milking.
And you'll sit here, watch a video, and just be fucking like hooked up to a machine as it sucks you dry, and then you just, and then you'll melt into your chair for a brief second. Like what? Like, and that moment, that's when you are like, that was disgusting.
Yup.
That was disgusting.
You talked about a dream scenario where this thing goes into some nut reservoir and cleans itself.
We're getting there.
But at this point in time,
We're getting there.
You're nutting in something you got to clean out. Right? Even with a woman, right? She's still got to clean that thing afterwards. Like, we've got these sex toys. That's the worst part, is after you get done, you're like, oh my God. Like, this machine just milked me and I've now got to clean it out.
That's one of the main reasons I didn't keep up with one. Like, it was just like, because I told you when I was 17, the first thing
you don't even know.
I have a debit card.
You don't even know, bro.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
Yeah, I don't.
These things are on different.
That's a different level. This is almost
Not even,
10 years ago now, man.
Understand.
It was like 10 years ago now, man.
Understand.
We were very primitive, male sex toy technology at the time. They don't like, they were still being, ingenious and still paving the way.
Yeah.
They walked so you could run.
But back then,
it was still pretty solid technology.
You were doing like 90% imagination. It was like 10% you had something else to stick your dick in besides your hand.
Man, I always had. That's the other thing. I feel like I always had access to a computer from a very young age, and since then, I was always looking at porn. Talking about like from like 12,
right,
11, 12
back
on.
then, those sex toys, they weren't doing nothing. They didn't
No,
even
you were still jerking it. Yeah,
you were jerking. It was all imagination. You just had
this one
something
had
else.
this had a little cap on the end that you twisted or tighter or looser. It would just adjust suction. I was like, I feel like it didn't do a goddamn thing.
For your big girthy
Yeah, I
dick.
feel like it didn't do a goddamn thing. Could not get more suction around this thing.
Now they got multiple levels of suction,
Yeah.
multiple levels of vibrating, one hitter clitoris mode.
Bro, I remember at the time, bro, because this is after Avatar came out. Well, when did Avatar come out, the first one?
09?
09. So this is like, I think this is probably like 2010, 11 probably, not sure, one of those years. And I remember I was on that site, the Fleshlight site, and they had the Avatar alien pussies on there. I'm just like, they had the Avatar alien dicks. They had the full alien line, bro. Nah, I didn't get one. I only ever bought one, and I was just like, yeah, I'm just not gonna keep cleaning this thing. This is just. I remember I was reading the instructions that came with it because I was geeking. I remember it was like, yeah, lay it in a tub full of warm water for the ultimate real feel. I'm just like, What am I doing here? What am I doing?
Warming her up.
Yeah, just like now I'm running bathwater for my flashlight.
Eventually,
Hey, do you want me to run you a bath, dear? Okay. You put in some of that sex toy cleaner that's like, all right, I got the bubbles you like, man.
Oh my gosh. I'm putting that very white.
I'll warm her up, clean her out, getting her ready for me. Like, what is it?
I had a long day.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the weird part. Like, we get weird, man. You're talking to your sex toy. No,
Yeah,
that's my front. If we're gonna go there, let's go fully there. You're talking to that sex toy.
I don't.
You said something, dude.
I don't recall.
I know I've said something.
I don't recall, man.
You're saying something just like, yeah. It's just like, yeah, bitch.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, I have said something.
Yeah, you're saying something.
I think if ever I have said
It's
something,
like,
bro.
get it.
I have said something, bro.
Do your
Yeah.
thing.
Uh huh.
Do your thing.
Yep. Yeah. You get a little plastic tap on the side, just.
Yo, you ready?
You're hitting a new angle on this shit. You're just like,
I dug that motherfucker between the cushions.
You sit there and say, oh, she riding now.
Freaky.
Shorty got me in her trance. You spin it. You're like, it's reverse. It's reversed.
Spin it around.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
We're some dirty son of a bitch.
You push that pleasure button, you get it. You're hooked. You're hooked. You're addicted. The porn doesn't add anything to it. But we're all depressed. And then we all take antidepressants. You love to get a fucking nut off. The one time you felt good all day. Came home from work, you like, because you were horny at work. And you were mad because you couldn't do shit because you had to be at this fucking job. But you'd be fucking right now.
Right. Ideally.
You feel me?
Ideally, it's like go through what fields, 85-degree weather, fucking.
Yeah, and like, but you come home and you sink. You put so much on these little pleasures because of that lift they give you because you are depressed. You feel sad. And now we're getting down to this thing where we're lying to ourselves. Like, did it all the time, but man, like we're some fucking broken people, and we're so intelligent, but we're so broken at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was like, will we learn from our mistakes?
We gave ourselves all these things too.
We
gave ourselves it.
Yeah.
It's weird how evolution
Some
progressed like that.
horny smart motherfucker said,
We just
I'll build it.
these stimulants. He's like, I know how much life sucks, dude. I get it. Just attach it to your dick, dude. It'll do the rest.
Can I get that back? That's our only prototype.
$60.
That's our only show demo prototype. Can I get that
How'd
back?
you do?
She holding up still. That's a very test silicone skin material that we're still working on. That the recipe's not down packed.
Yeah, when you try to take it, like he holds on a little bit.
We're our biggest curse to ourselves because we as those people, we saw these holes that we were missing in our life, and someone was like, I'll create that. Someone was digging with their hands, and then someone sharpened a shovel blade, and now we got a shovel. So like, it's not all bad, but it can be used for so many bad things. There was someone that said, hey man, I think we could sell these fake pocket pussies to the population and really make a killing. Look at the porn industry already. People are already wanking themselves to death.
Well, he fucked that thing. He invented something he could fuck before anything.
Yeah, he just got
And
good at
he
it.
was like, oh, other people would
I
want to
got a
fuck this thing.
This boy came over, can I fuck that?
I made you one.
I made you one, dog. What do you think? You think we can sell this? This boy does.
We can sell this.
Man, we'll drive ourselves in a hole.
And here you are as another human, just like, thank you. Create more of this. Anything. Molly.
Well, that
psychedelics.
I mean,
even if it's natural substances, bro. Like, even God or the universe gave you these things too to be like.
That's the thing. Like,
what is it?
In and of itself, like the ideas and creativity of humans to pull this all together. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. Even though it's like this is a fucking sinful, shitty fleshlight, but like this guy really just like saw something. He really sold this shit. He made a business. Like we as humans create these things, and we want other humans to create these things.
It's kind of weird though that like, God, because naturally I think like I'm like, well, I wouldn't think that nothing natural could be abused. it's kind of weird to think about that. Like the universe designed or God designed these things that you could abuse and you could get addicted to.
Yeah.
And they can play off of this on us and use it against us. Somebody was saying something real informative about, like, you know, the progression of mushrooms being accepted and acid being accepted. And they're like, you know, we're all in a rush to do this and as right, like we should, but be aware that when people do take these things, these people you're already talking about being vulnerable, they're going to be more vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be more susceptible.
Yeah.
So be careful of who they're taking it with because people can take advantage of this.
You watched that Big Think video on the Hopkins?
John Hopkins.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he said how many controls were in place for his study. You know, where he had like multiple people in this room. Like there was never anyone left unsupervised. Because the vulnerability for people to come under, like, it's ripe for abuse. He said it himself.
That's the video I'm talking about,
yeah, it's ripe for abuse.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the perfect state for someone to be able to come in with a power trip and take control of this whole session, this person. It's just, you have probably the most moldable, teachable, learning human in front of you at any given moment right here.
Yeah, it's weird, ain't it?
And now their mind's open. They could really... It's almost like hypnotism where like it feels like you can implant an idea and someone would just be super gone and high and be like, whoa.
And it's funny now that I'm thinking about that, right? Like think about how we want people to be that open. But if I told you, hey, I put you in this room with this person, I gave them this drug and it's working.
Yeah.
You've got 4 hours of this person being moldable like that. What would you start doing? Like what would you tell them?
Yeah, I mean,
what are you gonna start like? You're gonna start with your beliefs?
I think that'd be
scary.
So like that's like I don't think that's
how could you teach them without bias? You see what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, and
I'd be like, open your mind. Well, how do I open my mind? Now you're telling them how you open your mind.
Yeah, that's where we get into things where you would build. There'd be so. This is the way I think about it, you know. And with me being unfamiliar with how they actually conduct these studies now, you would think you'd build a case study. Sober, talking about things sober. You'd have that on paper. You'd be working with this patient for a while before you introduce this type of psychotherapy. At this point, I think they'd be well advised on the scenarios. And as teachers and professionals, where you would not be allowed to teach or help with anything other than like the trauma type of deal, the aspect, whatever you're trying to there and work on in psychotherapy.
That guy on the John Hopkins, I think he said they're with them for 8 weeks before they take any mushrooms or any dosage.
Yeah, you got to build that rapport. You got to build that with a person.
Make sure that they're okay to take them because, as he said, also like people can have bad trips and can go to bad spots.
And underlying psychoactive illnesses can occur and can come to the forefront triggered by these drugs. I mean, they're still researching that, but from my understanding, currently, if you have some type of underlying, susceptibility to schizophrenia, it could be worsened. From my understanding, like that is a risk. The bad trips involved, there's still cautions that we started to be aware of and be careful of, and we have to be able to make decisions on how well it works and understand that there might be some bad shit that happens with these psychedelic trials going further. There might be something bad that is uncovered, and
just like with all them trials.
Yeah, and we have to understand that that's not necessarily a bad thing for this drug. We can't weaponize that. We learned that how bad it is to weaponize those things with drugs, and
but they're treated like when a Tesla crashes.
Yeah,
they pretend that every other car don't crash.
Yeah,
they pretend that they didn't
will
overdoses on opiates.
Yeah,
that they didn't have trials where way more people got addicted than could ever get addicted to the substance. They're gonna balloon those incidents that happen.
And just like many other drugs, we all had some preconceived notions about drugs we were taught about, and we learned how false they were, and we're able to form our own opinions. Some people are still very deep into that type of propaganda. But with these trials, like I think this could be like the next big thing for like humanity. I think it could really do a lot for people, for human psyche overall, for our treatment of diseases, if we implement it properly. because I have a really bad feeling that it's not going to be.
Right.
It's going to be.
And we don't know how to do that right now, neither.
We don't.
I don't have a smart idea for it. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah, it sure is. Because now you're going to have people producing LSD.
Yeah.
You're going to have labs, companies, researchers.
And it's almost like the ritual behind it is getting that sketchy tab when you're 16 from some 30-year-old dude that's got a smiley face on it, and you take it with your friends, not sure what's going to happen, and then it's like a rite of passage or something.
Yeah.
So I wonder how that's going to go when there's no more point in that, and people are like, okay, well, they're going to tell you when you can administer these drugs, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to let you give that to your 13-year-old.
No.
You would imagine.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't. Probably wouldn't be able to do it. You'd have to be
we still
16
say
maybe.
18.
Yeah.
We still say 18 for everything.
Yeah.
Even with weed, it's going to be 18, right? Or 21.
I think 21 with weed, so maybe 21 with that drug before you can access it. And they'll probably, just like the beginnings of medicinal marijuana, kept it kind of like locked away for a long time, where it's like, okay, like medicinal marijuana's coming in 5 years. It's like that.
It sounds weird. I don't know where I'm at with it. I have to think about it, but thinking about like, I don't think it's that crazy for a child to take a psychedelic. Now, a toddler? No.
I mean,
right? But to say your kid's 13 and you go out on a camping trip and do some shrooms with your kid, is that crazy?
I mean, I think there's 100%. Like, I mean, you give your kid some Tylenol, and that's we know that's terrible.
Right.
Terrible for a fucking liver.
It's still even frowned upon for you to go out with your kid on a trip like that and smoke a joint with them.
Yeah.
You're not even supposed to drink a beer with them.
Yeah, I mean, like, me personally, like, you may let your kid have, like, a beer with you around, like, 16, 17, but, like, you're not going to be binge drinking with the kid. I mean, I've always felt pretty adamant, like, I don't want to smoke with, like, I never smoked with any of my, like, nieces and nephews until, like, they all turned, like, at least 18 or so. I know it's funny, but like
weird.
it just
It's
I know,
weird.
but
I get it. I
yeah,
the same.
and just like with my child, like, I probably wouldn't administer him any type of mushrooms or LSD, until he was a little bit older. I probably wouldn't do it when he was like 10, 12.
But like personally, I think like that would have been a good age. That would have been a good age to do it. But I mean, I did do it. Not like it was too old or something like that.
Yeah,
but
I think I was like 16.
I don't know. They give 10-year-olds oxycodones, man.
Yeah, and that's
so
where it's like
to figure out on that.
I was gonna say it's not the worst thing I think you could probably give your child. Like I said, the Tylenol, we know shit for the liver. It's terrible for the goddamn liver. And you just, here you go, take this. You have a fever, take this. You have a headache, take this.
Yeah, I've been thinking like the thing is you don't really have a place, but a lot of people seem to really not give a fuck about their health. And we started this with saying that we smoke, so it's not like we're the best people to sit here and say, but the way that people just have zero care about what they put in their body, man, it's very dangerous.
Yeah, it is. Cause I'm a heavier guy, I got some extra weight on me, and food, has always been pretty accessible, and I've always really enjoyed it. I've always had a pretty, I guess, I would say nowadays like a bad relationship with food. It was definitely a comforting thing. I really enjoyed it, and I would just gorge on food and just, say whatever. Like, it is what it is. So I know how easy it is for people just to fall in these like deliciousness traps of just like dopamine. It's just as good as smoking that blunt. You would go and get that Chick-fil-A. It tastes so delicious. You go.
That whole thing of
got
Gushers.
That salty ass fried chicken, so damn good. You ate 8 fruit snack packs because it was so fucking good.
Whole fucking tub of ice cream.
And the thing is, especially with our foods, a lot of our foods nowadays is that it's a lot less to get us to that calorie level where you would be full. We get to the point now where you go to Chick-fil-A, you'll get 1,000 calories in one meal, but you don't feel like you ate 1,000 calories.
No.
You ate a chicken sandwich and some fries. You're like, I only had a chicken sandwich and fries today, but that was 1,200 calories with the soda. Yeah. That was so much energy for your body to burn. It was so crazy. And then you did that. You'd probably do that. You'll probably go home for dinner, and you probably will make yourself another 1,000 calorie dinner. You probably eat breakfast too. We're all gorging on so many easily accessible calories. And it's so easy accessible just because, 200 calories is a lot of food. That's a whole avocado. You know, and that's good for you. That's some good fats. It's probably pretty filling. But you eat a little bag of Cheetos, the same amount of calories, if not more. 200 calories for that little bag of hot
and they
Cheetos.
deliver it to your front door now.
Yeah, and it's 99
Delivery,
cents.
any kind you want.
And one avocado is twice that much. Twice as much. You get 50 cents for that little bag of Cheetos, but avocado is $1.50 or some shit like that.
All just keep signing up for it, man.
Yeah, I mean it's super easy. It's what it was created for.
We don't want to die, man, but we rush to it.
We gotta be realer with ourselves. We really do. You gotta be realer.
Rushing to death.
We're right, yeah.
But like, how much is all this worth, too?
What do you mean?
That's the thing. Like, no one said you gotta live forever.
No.
No one said you lived a better life if you lived a longer life.
Yeah. It doesn't equate. Doesn't equal.
We don't want to die. No one wants to die. We want to live.
And I think all of us deeply don't want to be unhealthy. We want to make healthy decisions. We all aspire. We all want to be healthy. Our actions don't reflect that.
Because of what it brings to you. But if I told you, Steve, that dopamine that you like from those hoagies and Twinkies and Mountain Dew didn't make you bigger, you would not stop eating them.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
That's the only thing that stops you or wants you to be healthy is because it does affect your everyday life.
It does.
Other than that, you would love those. You would only eat
and this is the thing, our palate is so skewed. The foods that the whole foods that you would typically eat and enjoy taste nasty to you. You eat some plain rice or quinoa. It's like this tastes like nothing to me. Yeah. It's so skewed, but like there's really a nice earthy taste to it. It has its flavor, but it's not that fucking Chick-fil-A sandwich packed full of the flavor and salt and MSG, all that you can fucking feast on and make your mouth savor and drool.
All the flavors you just got, like just making canned fucking glass jar spaghetti at home. Mm-hmm. It's got fucking 30 ingredients in it. Mm-hmm. Then you add 10 home ingredients in that motherfucker. Yeah. You imagine somebody just boiling some meat back in the fucking prairie days?
Yeah.
And they just think that bitch is so tasteful. We've completely lost that.
It's so skewed, bro.
So many flavors to smack these palates now.
Yeah, because I mean those high notes are the ones that stick to your tongue. You get that high sweet, that high sugar, bro. I remember I was not hungry at all, and I remember my girl, she got some McDonald's, she brought it home. I smelt it, and I felt hungry. I'm just like, because that's what it's made to do. The way it tastes is just as engineered as the smell it has. You know, that's a fucking burger. That's a burger plug-in right there. Just comes in, just goes right up your fucking nose. Makes you hungry somehow.
So here we are. You know that weed's killing you. We know this food's killing us. We know we're jerking off too much.
We know we're sad.
What the fuck is going on here, bro?
Yeah, I was. It's funny because
it'd all be a front. It's all a front. If you see, you know what I mean? Like, if you say that everything's okay tomorrow, then it's all a front.
Oh yeah.
You just admitted all of these things.
But you put on that mask because that's what you need to get through tomorrow's day.
Well, we're all masked up.
Because nobody
wants to go through this.
Nobody.
Talk about all these things we need to get through our days.
Yeah. You need it all. All those little comforts you find are the same ones they target you with. You know, it's like it's the devil in sheep's clothing. It's just here's everything that you wanted. Delicious food. It's cheap. God, you can't make this food this delicious at home for this cheap, for this little amount of work. It's the instant gratification. It's the instant satisfaction. The instant access to all of these things. Because there was no one growing weed for you. You would have to grow your own weed to have that vice. There's no one making chicken sandwiches for you. You would have had to go make your own food and get your own food. There's no work or no access point besides being employed with money to get any of these things that fucking hijack you. Each and every one of them. You don't gotta grow no weed. You don't gotta fry no damn chicken sandwiches. You don't gotta make no fries. If people cooked for themselves, like they probably would not eat French fries and fried chicken all the time because of how much work's actually involved in doing that shit. You probably would not do that all the time.
Have to clean a chicken, especially.
If clean a chicken, you had to go chop a chicken's head off.
Yeah.
You probably would not do it so often. And because now it's so instant, meat's super cheap in bulk.
But that's weird, because that's what's weird, because we're going to have to go to everybody and say, we got to make it harder, guys. They're like,
we gotta
"It's
make it
simple.
harder."
Why
Yeah.
are we trying? We're like, why are you trying to make it harder? Because we need this. We need to make it harder, guys. It's supposed to be hard. And like, that's what we're doing all this for.
It's not
So it'd
that-
be easy.
It's not that it's harder. It's that we have. I think we've
I
fallen.
think the truth is, it's harder.
It is harder. Okay. Yeah.
Like,
It's definitely
if you tell
harder.
somebody, hey, you're gonna go to a farm and work for your food.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It
Okay.
is
Yeah.
a harder
Yeah.
lifestyle. That's why we like that it's easy.
Yeah.
We're willing to work hours. You go to a fucking restaurant, bro. You might have I've done spent $300 on a restaurant.
Yeah.
That's a fucking 2 days work after taxes.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I'm willing to sacrifice 2 days fucking work for one meal.
Yeah. Just for a little
It's
lavish meal, a little
crazy.
extra high.
It's
Yeah.
crazy, man. I could never catch up.
No, you can't.
You could never catch
And I
up.
think-
because most of your fucking money is going to vices.
Yeah. I mean,
And
we
haven't even gotten to like your Netflix,
no.
your cable,
Your
your gambling.
You're gambling. You're sports watching.
America's on their on a way to a gambling addiction, bro. A pandemic.
Mhm. Sure
Look
is.
at it, dog.
Sure is,
We're
man.
all so excited for it. Another vice.
There's
Another vice.
not a lot of people
Yes.
not doing it, man. And there's a lot of money being circulated over here.
Yeah.
A lot of money going around, and it's not going to where they said it was going ever. 'Cause that never happens. It never happens.
We
Like,
don't give a fuck.
no.
You ain't never
You-
bet
no.
thinking it's going to schools.
Well, you justify it by being like, well, at least it's the horseshoe's going to the
I
schools.
know you
At
get it.
least it's
Man,
going to the
You're,
schools.
you're one in a million now because nobody has a job. We're all mad that we lost the parlay. Nobody gives a fuck that it went to schools because we don't even know if it did. We
I
want the
just-
parlay to cash.
Yeah, that's what you said before you walked in the first time. You're like, oh, look at this sin house. Look at this sin house right here. Just fucking degeneracy here. Just go here with a bunch of smoking Asians and you just gamble money. You
It's
just fucking
not,
roll
see,
dice. You know,
To
like
me, it's like everything we've discussed before this is way worse than gambling to me. I really
think-
do not believe gambling is that bad. It just seems
No.
to be an addictive vice.
no. So what just the way I look at it when you go into these places, why I look at them this way. Because you go in, you have all those slot machines that light up with the big screens where frogs are
Right.
jumping everywhere and
They've
like coins are
made it
shooting down you.
dopamine
They
releasing
made
and
it
shit,
20
but-
times worse than like what gambling is to begin with.
But you could read all
You
the
took
way back,
tobacco
You,
and you're giving me a Marlboro Red right now. Like
you could go back to Native Americans and shit. Gambling.
Yeah.
Over
Oh,
horse
yeah.
races or whatever it is.
Yep.
Like,
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong for me and you as a friend to meet up, roll some dice
I
for
think that's fine.
for nothing.
That's fine, dude.
But we've created, yeah.
But
yeah, sin
but when
houses, as
but
you
when
said.
but when you add, like I said,
Big
it's
sin
when
whore
it's when you
houses.
just add those lights, the fucking ambiance that's cultivated specifically to make you want to gamble and spend more money. Like
And
I said,
you
they're
know
taking
it.
they're
And
taking
you
the
know it and you
tobacco.
take it in.
People always smoke tobacco, but they went and gave you a fucking cigarette.
Made it
20,
so easy.
30 times more addictive for you.
And easy.
And easy. You
you don't
just
even gotta
fucking
roll it no more.
puff that bitch. You open up a pack, you puff it, you're hooked. You chase that, you're in this thing, all these lights are flashing, you push a button, there's $1 your money. Max bet, and then you could smoke and gamble. People
Yeah.
like just fucking, and every time you push that button, $2, lights go up, ding ding ding. Oh, you got a couple more coins for which jackpot you gonna get? Oh, what are you gonna get? Is it you? Is it you? Like that's why it's like so like just like
And it's funny because you always see
degenerate
these-
to me, but I like gambling.
the belief that you're gonna win is because you've seen other people win, but it's
Yeah.
not you winning. It's
Yeah.
you seeing other people, win.
Uh-huh.
And you know that every time somebody else wins, it's less likely you will.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're witnessing what you know lowers your odds, and you then think to play it because you've seen something.
Well,
lower
his
the
chance is good as mine. You know,
odds. They're
this is-
not.
No,
And we know
no.
that the chances got
and
lower.
the saying, "The house always wins." The house always wins.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
nobody's ever hit 100 grand on a machine, and then the next spin was for 100 grand too.
Let's say, look,
Never had 2 jackpots came out in consecutive order, right?
nope, but 10 people hit out of the 3 million customers I had, or some crazy
Yeah.
shit, like some insane shit. That mega
I don't know,
jackpot.
look at the sketchy shit they got going on now in the business world, where basically these online gambling platforms pay fucking Nelk boys,
Mm-hmm.
fucking Drake to go play $1 million bet
Barstool got
on
their own
Argentina or Port-
sportsbook media company
You know, like, but like these are fake bets. Like they're always like, oh, Drake lost $1 million
on stake. Yeah,
$1 million on fucking Portugal.
yeah.
No, he didn't.
There was
And it's like he betted on so-and-so.com.
There was a huge issue for a while where they had streamers doing that, where people were pretty much just paying streamers to just go on these gambling sites. They'd just be free spins, whatever. You know, they need to get those big ones. They're streaming this shit. Everyone's just like, oh my god, like. And for a while, everyone was just like, should you even be able to stream this shit? Like, they're clearly being set up with funding to get people hooked on this gambling shit, on these gambling sites. Like, that's clearly what they're doing. Should we allow this? Should we allow people to just set people up this way? You know, like, they had a guy recently where he was trying to push some type of, like, crypto coin that attached to a video game. You know, and it was all one big fucking scam, rug pull, like.
But we're always all preaching, like, even us, we sit here and we preach how people should have all this freedom.
Yeah.
But if we give them the freedom and give them all these things, like, bro, imagine we make weed legal, drugs are legal, gambling's legal, prostitution's legal.
Yeah, but just
Goodbye, population.
Just take out all the additives.
That's what sucks. It's because of the way that they've designed it.
Yeah, yeah.
But if we come up with a way to where you make these accessible, but you're not allowing them to be preyed upon like that, I think there's a way to find it.
Like, I think it's okay to, like, do some slot machines, shoot the dice, play some games.
Like, if it ruins your life, can I make that decision for myself?
Yeah.
Why are you telling me what ruins my life, right? To play devil's advocate of what we're saying.
Yeah, that's true.
If I do just want to work all my life away so I can gamble, fuck whoever will let me fuck them for payment, and do drugs, like, who are you, you know?
Yeah. And then all the healthy gamblers are like, every once in a while I want to go throw some cash. I want to spend a little bit and gamble, and I don't ruin my life.
Right.
I do it responsibly.
Exactly.
Well, now it's I can't do it because Joe Schmo can't keep his shit together, dude.
Right, that's what's tough. So what are we gonna do? Like? It's like if we legalize it, like, is there more of it tomorrow, or is there less of it? You're hoping that comes with a round of awareness, also.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're able to adapt a lot of things, and you're not just falling victim to Percocet then heroin addiction.
Yeah,
and not seeing it coming. And maybe we can make it more aware.
That's where, like, you had, people who lived in Maryland who had gambling all around them. You know, they could go to places and gamble and come back. And they're sitting here and they're just, like, in this dry state. You know, they can't do any of this, and they just keep wishing they would. Keep wishing they could, and then you just give it to them out of nowhere. Now, all the people that didn't gamble before even, or never even went across state borders to gamble because it was so much harder. Now we're giving everyone the shot of heroin immediately.
But I'm a grown ass man.
You're a grown ass man.
And I don't give a fuck about this world.
And you gamble responsibly?
No.
I gamble responsibly.
I don't. I don't say I don't do none of it, bro. Say
you're right.
Do coke all fucking day. I gamble all fucking day on my phone. I fuck anything I see, pay for it or not. But I go to work every day. I pay my taxes. And I don't do crimes.
Yeah. What can we do here?
You know what I mean?
What can you do here?
It's weird that we're like, no, we can't give this to people. And we both are agreeing. If you give this to people, they probably will start to abuse it. Maybe initially. Maybe there's a corner that's turned where people start realizing, like, okay, now it's legal to you. There's no aura behind it of, like, what are they hiding or how's it feel? Now you know. You're able to experience it in a comfortable, safe setting.
Yeah.
Maybe this doesn't interest you. Mm-hmm. And just because it's legal doesn't mean everybody's going to choose it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean everybody's going to abuse it.
Yep.
But if there is someone that does, I think they have the right to do it. And we can't keep dictating and locking people up because they want to choose what they do.
100%.
They're not stealing for it. They're not attacking people. You got to leave them alone, bro. And leave them. Is it that crazy for us to be like, hey, here's some shit that won't kill you. If that's what you want to do, show up to work tomorrow. Here's some shit that won't kill you. You're able to do what you want in your free time.
Yeah.
You can't be high doing roof work. But if you want to get high and you get done roof work, who the fuck are we to say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%, man.
It's weird that, people be out here fighting, like, abortion legal or not. But they'll be like, we want to control what people put. We can't control. If it's my body, my choice, why they tell me what drugs to do?
I like to think that, like, that
people. My body, my choice for drugs.
That people are just, like, trying to protect people from themselves, but I think a lot of it just comes down to control. This is not how I see America. I don't see America with a bunch of pot smoking hippies. I don't see people with a bunch of coke snorting gamblers in my country. I love God, or some shit like that. Or I love this country. I don't want to see this country go to shit, so I'm protecting you from yourself, type of deal.
They're always trying to enforce it, but there's somebody in that society that believes it should be okay. So they're always trying to enforce your personal opinion. And okay, say we put it to vote. Say we put it to Democratic vote. And it's split 55-45. 5% more? Well, fuck. That's a lot of fucking people who don't want this shit. Like, this is an issue. I think it's a severe issue.
And that's where I think we get into like territory of like you start developing like a new idea, like a new spin-off of like how you would handle democratic procedures for like everyone to get a say in how we do this. You know, how we as a state, you know, we went to the polls. Well, it looks like we all wanted this gambling shit, and they're like, all right, well, I guess it's majority vote for now. What else can we do in that? How can we break a 45-55, you know, vote other than majority? What else can we? Most people want it. Most people want it. I mean, what else do you create that'd be like, well,
most,
you need to do
not most, more.
More, yeah. Mm-hmm.
More people want it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could be a bitch and say 51-49, 50.1, 49.9. If you really want to get like technical of how much
people
does it matter.
People have won races like that, yeah. You know,
shit comes down to that.
Yeah. So I mean, like, you know, at that moment, like I said, we would have to then create some new system of like how do we then represent what the masses, what everybody wants and agree upon. Is it like, well, now you got to win by 60%. Well, now we're just handicapping the more people that want it. You know, they still want, all those people still want it. Now we're just like, now we're giving it to like, oh, they don't want, like, you know, how would you decide that advantage? You know what I'm saying? Like, you would just give a spread to those, like, to like the other side.
But they don't take a national vote for those type of things. When they outlawed drugs, it wasn't a national vote.
It was not. You sure wasn't.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's however the fuck they formed that bill in their own world. It's like, oh, so-and-so brought this to Congress, and they voted on that shit.
They know, yeah.
We voted on the president nationally,
yep,
that's it.
Yep.
That's the only fucking thing, bro.
That's sure, yep, you're right. You're right.
We never put that. So let's put that. I would love to see it 2 vote. I would love just to see, like, even if we lost it, I would love to see what the number stands at.
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to pick whatever drug you want or all drugs and just see, is it 30%? That are like, fuck, let these people do what they want. You know? We just talked about how we all are doing these vices, and we all do them in secret and hide them, and don't want nobody to know. Nobody's out here flaunting their drug abuse. It's supposed to be a hidden darkness behind it. If they do flaunt it, it's about the darkness behind it.
And then we fund a whole unit that like goes out to find these people that then break these laws that we have.
Altered realities. Who's tainted substances?
Who's grown weed out here? Who's got the mushrooms?
Weird.
Who is gambling under their basement? Who's doing a gambling ring? We have people to go find out and track these down. We're doing so much to just try and control.
It's weird that like the states are so on par with those votes federally, as far as the drugs go. Like, there's not no state coming out here like we need to legalize cocaine. They don't never said that.
No.
So they're just on par with that.
But it's funny that like the one area where like, you know, psychedelic mushrooms grow all the time, the Pacific Northwest. Well, they were the first ones to get it on ballot. They had the highest access to it, the easiest access to it for foraging and finding psilocybin in the wild. You even have to cultivate it. You go foraging, and you would find your magic mushrooms.
Right. They stopped. You can't forage no more.
Yeah.
You cannot go forage for what you want.
No, you can't. No. That's what was cool.
It's like, hey, you found those that God put there. No, smack your hand. It's weird. It's the more I think about it, it sucks because I literally started it on about we can't let people just be their own vices, and now I'm thinking you can't tell them what their vices are.
You can't. No, it becomes a funny line because what's one's vice is not another's. Someone would look at us with smoking and be like, "This is your vice." I'd be like, "I agree." There'd be someone that you tell that to, and they'd be like, "It's not a vice. I just smoke, dude."
It's like women, like there's plenty of women out here that are willing to have sex for money.
And we all...
But people that aren't even women or willing to have sex for money are like, no, you can't do that.
And we also like... We also love to just... I don't know, control things and people and outcomes and project. Where it's like this person is so susceptible to alcohol, they're just like, I don't want anyone to kill themselves with alcohol ever again. And I say, dude, I bang 40s with the boys every once in a while, man. Like,
Right.
I'm not you, dude.
Well, it's easier when they don't see it. Basically, it's
It's
how they
easier,
look
yeah.
at it, right?
Mhm,
So
yeah.
they're like, but here's how funny and contradicting it is. So you're like, okay, well, somebody says, man, I don't swim in the ocean. Well, you don't want your kid that can't swim in the ocean to be at the ocean watching kids swim.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to take him now places where there's no swimming,
Mm-hmm.
but you're allow them to be on Hollywood and show your kid whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
You could see you show them all the movies in the world. They can watch all the violence in the world, and you don't care about none of that. So you could watch somebody get drugs and glamorize it on TV, but they're not allowed to experiment with it or know what it is.
No, just let whoever wrote that story or directed that movie, who interpreted the story that was written about that chemical.
These kids are watching fucking Euphoria, bro.
Yeah.
And just drug,
Yeah.
sex.
And at the end of the day, neither of us also don't like giving up control and a lot of power to these people to then decide for us. Because I mean that always ends up poorly. It always ends up badly. It goes counterintuitive to what would probably actually be the positive thing for people. Like that would actually help some people get through some shit. Could actually help some people. It could harm some people. It could harm a lot of people. But we might just have to allow people to do that instead of doing so much to protect that, so much to tell them they can't. We do so much to tell them they can't, and then we come up with so many answers because these people it's outlawed, but they still ruin their life with it. Now we give them the resources, so now we're trying to stop it from doing it, and then we're giving them the resources. Yep. We're getting banged on every single end, and it costs everybody. It literally costs everybody. Gambling addictions cost people. There's government things set up for that. There's government set up. There's funding that they put aside for opiate usage and housing for people abused by or abuse that and food, and we put out so much to all these people that disobey the laws that we spend money to enforce, that take away from real crimes in the city, drug laws versus the actual violent crimes we have going on. It's just been a lose-lose so far. It's been lose-lose.
And they judge it, so early. They judge it off of first impression. So when I think about this, right, I'm like, okay, if you sat there and said to a human, especially a man, hey, I'll hook you up to this wire. It shoots dopamine right into your body. You'll always feel good, never feel bad. And I'll hook this machine up to your dick that'll milk you 6 times a day. There's plenty of men that would just accept that. But it's the men today that are in this world that deal with these things. You would think that if we did that, well, that wouldn't be the rest of humanity, right?
Yes.
We would do that, and then eventually we would learn. This is fruitless. This is soulless. We want other things.
Yes.
We would learn to control this more. Instead, we seen what these drugs did, and then they were so shocked by it initially of being like, if someone did one bad thing on them, this drug's got to go. It can never be seen again.
We're all rebellious. We all like doing things that we're told not to do. As soon as you put that label on not to do this, well, man, that one person is like, why are you telling me not to do that? To me, it just piques more interest and more curiosity from people when you're just put a label of like, it's so bad you can't do that.
Weird levels, bro. There's people like you think about. What was his name? Stephen Pollock and shit, right? Whatever the fuck his name. Probably not Pollock. Where it's like
Pollock probably
believes that he has the right to kill people.
Yeah.
And that's one that you can't even fathom. But he's like, well, who are you to tell me who I can kill? I didn't kill you. And you're going to tell me what now you fight everybody's battles?
And,
it's weird how we've established things.
To me, it's also it's not, he is not that crazy or far off because, in a real aspect, we have this world that we clearly outline these things, but that's all like a fugazi. That's all not even that's all like smoke in the wind almost. It's really about who's in a room with one another at the end of the day. Those rules don't exist, to people. And then he's like, well, you don't have the right to kill someone. Well, what grounds are you basing that off of? You know, what grounds do you have to argue? You're just like, well, that's wrong. He's just like, what to you? You know, it's like, well, yeah, but I feel in my heart that it's wrong to do that. You don't do that, guy. I think that's evil. I think it's bad that you're doing that. So we just like, okay, well, we can get rid of that guy. We just kill him. It's just that our ability to cast that judgment and just really, because back then someone would probably just kill that motherfucker. This guy's talking crazy. He thinks he can just kill anybody in this village, man. Probably kill that motherfucker real quick. Be like, he can't kill nobody here. We kill him. We kill him. But just like how we're basing, okay, we're gonna kill him.
Oh, you're a
well,
killer.
who has the right for you to say we can now execute this guy? It goes both ways.
Because he
it's like
wants
a paradox.
to kill us. What the fuck? There is no right or wrong there. That's a hard fucking question.
Hmm?
If somebody wants to kill you, does that give you a right to kill him? Either way, you're a killer. That is true. You're a killer now. You're saying that if someone attacks me, I've got the right to kill him. Which, hey, to me, I agree. It's fair.
Yeah.
You got to defend yourself.
Yes.
But that is a decision, dude. It's not to say you could say you did it in self-defense. You're still killed.
Yes.
You still decided that you had the right to kill.
And then once we accept that in my mind, and we're like, okay, well, we have the right to defend ourselves and right to kill. Well, now it's left up to judgment, or we're like, well, now we have to look into this. That looked a little iffy. We have to be sure that he actually had grounds to kill this guy.
People that weren't even here judging it.
And now we have a whole justice system set up to where we have people listening to these matters. Did he really have the grounds to kill this guy? Let's look at the facts here. Like, what the
he
fuck?
Shot him in his back.
We say it's okay to do that. Now it's like, whoa. Now we have a whole argument about it anytime something iffy happens. And at the end of the day, when it's one-on-one, it's just two people at the scene. This guy's like, I gotta defend myself. The other guy's like, I wasn't doing shit. Oh man, we got a fucking court case on our hands.
That cost the state $500,000 to decide if two random people committed murder or not.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you got like moral decisions, right? Like I run up to you and I try to blow your brains out from the back, but the gun jams. You pull out your gun and shoot me as I'm running away.
Yeah.
Are you wrong?
Yeah.
We don't even know how to decide these fucking things, right?
No.
Well, you trying to kill me.
No, it's just like
you shot in the back.
You would ask him like, why do you feel that way? And like, a lot of times it's just like, well, I just feel like he's surrendered. He ran away. He survived. Like, well, I feel like he's gonna kill someone one day.
Me.
I feel like he may come back.
Yeah.
You know, like what? Who? Like how? There's no basis justification. There's no solid ground to stand on when you're arguing this type of thing.
And
it's a very murky area.
He didn't do nothing to you.
And then we apply our morals to it, and we're just like, okay, well, you were standing your ground. I think he was defending himself. What can we do here? He was running away. He did shoot him, but I'm not sure what would have happened if that guy lived. So
you could have found Jesus. Did you see Alex Jones
soft
on
cancer.
Andrew?
Pardon me?
On
CNN?
No, Andrew on Callahan. Andrew Callahan, yeah.
Was he on CNN? Is that what you're talking about or no?
No, Alex Jones.
He was
on Andrew 5.
No, I didn't see that.
5. You didn't see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Bro, you've got to see this video, dog. I didn't know it existed, man, until I watched it. And Alex Jones just goes wild, man. You know he lost the court case.
Yeah.
So that's $45 million.
It's billions, dude.
Dog. I don't even want to talk too much about him. I didn't literally show you the video. He goes like full.
I love Andrew, dude. He's a good
Jones,
journalist,
man.
bro. That guy's a good fucking journalist.
I mean, he's basically saying like, I'm the one that did it. Okay, like he goes full that character of being like, I've got found guilty. I'm the one that did it. I killed the kids. Basically, is what he's saying. And he's trying to play like, yeah, and he's trying to play like, well, if I gotta pay for this, like, he says a really smart part in there, even though he says tons of wrong shit. Mm-hmm. Where he's like I invented Prozac. That I forget the killers of that Sandy Hook shooter. I forget it, but his mom's name. And he's like, I invented Prozac that she was on that bought him the gun, bought him the AR. And it's like you see the point he's trying to make, but obviously he went above and beyond. Bro, they talk about some of the harassment that the families were getting. Gravestones being broken, trying to dig up, the grave sites, getting calls and shit of them saying they faked their children's death. Like, the worst of the worst. And that's what sucks, because you've got somebody like Alex Jones that's, like, trying to talk about what we all do believe exists. Whether it happened to Sandy Hook or not, we all do believe that the government does shit like that. Maybe not to that level, but does shit like that. And now they're like, look, you're not going to be able to say things like this, basically. You cannot be able to say this even if you believe it or if you've got proof or nothing, because of the way it was taken. And that's what I'm saying sucks, because they obviously should not have went that route, and that's horribly wrong. The object of that is for them to take that and push that towards the government. Call the government and ask them why they faked that. Don't call the families and say they had, they faked their children's death.
Yeah.
Like, that's the opposite way, in my opinion, to take what he was trying to expose. But he did go say shit about the families, too.
He might have been able to continue to say that stuff if there was no harassment of the families involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
If there was no harassment, he wouldn't be in the situation he is now.
Bro, there was a specific lady that called a specific family and was telling the dad, I know you faked your son's death and you got him in the attic raping him. On voicemail, like a known call, you can hear it.
Yeah.
It's horrific. It's horrific. And that's why Alex Jones got to pay $45 million.
That's why.
He says he don't got that. He says they'll never get it.
They probably won't, I think there's a lot of times where, like, they symbolically, like, it was like that House committee recently with Trump. They were getting his tax returns and stuff, and they came to the conclusion, they were like, we would recommend charges for Mr. Trump. And then, like, you read into it, you read the article, and they're just like, this is purely a symbolic gesture of, like, where we stand with the things. Like, we would recommend, it's absolutely nothing of substance, but, like, that's what that, like, numerical figure is. Like, it's like, well, they looked at his finances. They probably know his assets. They had people look into his worth and stuff, where his assets are tied up, and they already knew that. But it's symbolic in nature. It's a large sum. It's what the families are getting. It's a victory.
And they sued Remington, bro, and won.
They got manufactured?
Yeah, they won like 75 or 78 million from Remington.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah,
it's wild. Because I remember, I forgot what state. I think there's a couple states or that have laws in place where you can't.
I didn't think that
sue
had
a manufacturer.
anything to do with the gun manufacturer. I would have to look into it and see, like, was it advertised toward children or some shit? Because the state law is what controls who can get one and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
And not only that, unless it was like from like a Remington shop, like that guy most likely went to another dealer. It's like you wouldn't go to Toyota and be like,
his mom buying him the gun.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rittenhouse, same thing. The mom bought him a gun, mom drove him.
His friend bought him a gun.
Yeah, his friend.
Mom drove him.
Yeah, mom drove him. So I mean, you participate. We give things to people. It's like there's a reason we don't allow things like that, and there's a reason like those things are in place because
he can have an AR, but he can't have mushrooms.
You can't just give it to anybody. How old was he?
Rittenhouse, I think it was.
No, not Rittenhouse. It was the Sandy Hook.
I don't know.
I'm not sure either.
I don't know.
Yeah, but you get 19, you can most likely get a gun. Most likely to be an AR.
You have a gun before that.
You can't drink. You can't drink though. You can't smoke now.
At 14, you could be hunting, out there with a gun.
You can. Yeah, you can.
Which is tough. Here we are again because we're gonna tell them they can't hunt.
Yeah.
Here we tell them what to do again.
Well, I think so. Like in I think it's Switzerland. They have the highest concentration of like guns, like per capita. That's just like so. Like per 1,000 person, like they have a large amount of guns per 1,000 people. America, same thing, but over there, it's just primarily hunting rifles. All those people hunt up in that winter shit. They all hunt, and it's all hunting rifles. That's what they do. So I mean,
ideally.
like, yeah. So I mean, like,
but we're so afraid of a tyrannical government over here because that's how we got here. That's the thing people don't understand. That's how we got built. So that's what we're worried about. Mm-hmm. We're worried that could happen again.
You're worried, yes. You're worried it could happen again, and I mean, it's a right that's ingrained.
Single fire bolt action.
It's in our identity, man. It really is. Like that's what this. It's one of the literally bills that the country was founded on. They founded on that, and they outline like, hey, like, well, I mean, the armed population is a protected protect the population from any amount of tyranny. Plus, I mean, like at that time, like, well, you got soldiers, British soldiers that can land anywhere on this coastline. They're not coming to the harbor, bro. Well, if everyone out here got guns, well, shit, boom, they're gonna have a hard time taking any of this shit over. You have an armed population. Anyone comes on these shores with an armed population, you got so many more problems to worry about.
It's weird that nobody ever just like ripped the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, no.
Right? Just be like, ah, and then like it would have held no value. Like, how is it that we still got these laws from 200 years ago?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Because you wouldn't believe in the Illuminati of things. But it's like, why would they give you guns as a constitutional right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then why is that still here all these years later if it really is that controlled and you think like you should have them to fight the one world order or the government?
Yeah,
You know
it's very
what I
true.
mean? Like,
it's very true.
They gave you the right that
It's like
that you're good.
that's where like it's like, well, is it possible that this thing that they kind of thought about is kind of working with like, well, the population's still armed. Well, this is really ingrained in people. Once you say, hey, take away this gun, well, they get in an uproar.
That's too much.
There's
right?
no way they're letting
But
these
now
guns
we've
up.
got a different country and different people.
Very
and
different
now we
country.
don't need them to have these guns like that. And maybe they are a lot more dangerous when they've got ARs than when they had bolt actions, right?
And we
if
we
we
know
want to control them, we're fine. Like little ways to pull back.
And I mean, it's no surprise. You know, they're very accessible. They're very well, I won't say very easy to get, but I would say very easy. It may take some time. You may not walk out with a rifle that day.
But it's fairly
as
easy.
long as I have nothing on my record, I could get a gun tomorrow.
Any big gun.
I could get a gun tomorrow, and I can just go on a rampage. Anyone can change at any moment and go fucking psycho killer.
It's amazing they don't have more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing how many of these people were already on lists.
Right.
That's amazing. Then like you.
Yeah.
I guess maybe too many to track.
We're already being worried about.
Way too many to track. I mean, can you
Yeah,
really?
but you see sometimes like they got warnings and shit.
You can't just put Pegasus on his phone. Like, you know, you can't put Pegasus on his phone.
That's when you get the conspiracy side. I'm like, well, maybe not necessarily they even have to do anything, but maybe they are aware something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And they just turn a blind eye sometimes.
That's true. Yeah, and it could because I mean, at the end of the day, you know, like what are they really gonna get out of it? What are they gonna prevent? And then it's like, oh, CIA stop domestic. Like, what really? I would say they really get nothing from preventing any of these things from happening. You know, it's another kind of like news headline.
Patriotism.
I mean,
People
like, fight about that. People fight about that. We should get rid of guns for America.
Yeah, but
we should keep our guns.
If they stop
for America.
Nobody's ever complained about a gun when it did stop a shooting or something.
No one did. No.
They never complained.
No, which has happened. You know.
Yeah.
And that's the fun. Every time that like one happens, everyone's like, "Where's the good guy with the gun? Where is he?"
I mean, that is true. It's like
they
do exist.
We look at Uvalde. They poor response.
Yeah.
It took way too long. There's the good guys with the guns. The ones here to save you. And at the end of the day, they stopped people from going to go try and save their own children, which probably prevented more massacre. But hey, if that guy had an AR, you're not gonna stop me in this fucking situation. I'm gonna go. Wait,
yeah.
Like
but
you're
it's tough because
I know,
he's like not trained.
I know.
Now he's opening shots in a school.
That guy might be trained. Who knows?
Right, could be. But I mean, we got seconds to find out. Right, he runs up.
I forgot there was
I'm a war veteran.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got
Okay, go.
I'm not gonna hand out more guns. Yeah, I'm not handing out more guns. 100%. You know.
You know what I mean?
But yeah. Yeah, I mean, another one was like that. Another one was.
But
like,
the gun's not what stopped. Fuck that situation up. That was those people and
yes,
the laws not letting them go in there.
Another crazy one was the Las Vegas shooting, where they couldn't even tell where this guy's fucking dumping rounds from.
Yeah,
it's from a fucking Mandalay Bay on the 23rd floor, just dumping ammunition. No one fucking knows. Everyone's in chaos. Like, man, I don't know. There's no one should probably be able to amass an arsenal like that because that guy had guns.
But if we're saying that the reason for having the law is that the tyrannical government, well then why would you cap the arsenal?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, let them fight back, but 500 rounds. But 500 rounds.
It's very 100%. It's very fine, bro. I know.
It's so asinine.
I know. But it just seems like again. I mean, who knows? This could really be an idea to disarm our population. It really could be.
How far do we go?
It really could be. I'm sorry.
The questions never end. Are
It
we going
could
to
be.
buy RPGs?
That's
But
crazy.
if it's a tyrannical government,
We need
I'm gonna need a
RPGs.
stinger.
RPGs. They got fighter jets.
I gotta try to put one of these bad boys down,
How
right?
do we fight? Yeah. How do we fight against the government without RPGs and anti-tank mines? Why? Like, come on. But on the flip side,
So I go to jail if I got a Molotov cocktail stash,
yeah, you better get all your styrofoam together.
but I'm supposed to defend my country. We've got more questions than we could ever ask, bro. We'll keep trying every
We
single
could ever
podcast.
Answer, solve.
I love you all. Stay sexy. Keep
Thank-
dreaming.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. Y'all have a good night.
Oh, child. Things are gonna get. It fades out
Yeah.
easier.
You hear it? You hear
Oh,
it?
child.
Ooh,
Things are gonna get easier.
easier.